Damn. This new, for those that don't know, I like to put on stream beats when I'm streaming. They're beats, but for streaming. This is their new chiptune album, and it kicks ass. I don't even really normally like chiptune. It kicks ass. It's good and kick ass. Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Guess who actually has a video done before the stream for a change? I still have to render it and upload it, but guess who finished their video for the week ahead of going to stream? It's me. Thoughts line. I bet you're all pretty impressed. Bobby Duke. No, Bobby doesn't actually work on the videos. He's that would be a waste of his talents. Hey, also, my hand is all fucked up. I was trying to open a jar for my wife using my masculine wrists, but I couldn't do it. And then she did it. And I fucked up my hand. It hurts, like all the time. Now, this is my new normal. How are you? This stream is not sponsored by Coca-Cola or their Colombian death squads. Get a spanking on the bottom first. This isn't that kind of stream. So here's what I'm thinking. You know, I go through all of my. You know, I'm always trying to figure out what am I going to stream this week? What am I going to stream? What do people want to see? And I thought, why am I complicating it? People just want me to make fun of PragerU. That's all you got to do. And that's what I'm doing. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm excited for a lot of the new content on their channel. I don't know if you all knew this. PragerU has a children's channel that I'm excited. I'm excited to check out, and I think that's where we're gonna go first. So I've queued up I'm just turning off the music. It ended very abruptly. Wow, cool, very good. Good job, Spotify. So I have a video all lined up for you. Okay, my mic wasn't added to that scene, so I just had to do that real quick. Good old BU, hell yeah. Your She-Ra videos started my realization that I am NB. Thought I should send some love your way. Thanks for the help, Prager. Boo. Ha! You said boo and it scared me. So this is from PragerU Kids, their horrifying new channel. And it's a subject that I think is important to a lot of us here. This one's called How to Earn and Save Money. Now, I haven't watched any of these ahead of time. I'm going in fresh, like I assume all of you are. So if you think I've like sat back and prepared jokes, no, I don't work hard. That's why I need PragerU to teach me how to earn and save money, because I can't do it on my own. I think this is a cool lesson to teach kids how to make money, and I'm excited to see their down-to-earth practical advice coming from their petro-billionaire fund managers. So let's hear them out. Long-time lurker, first real live stream. Super excited. Lots of love from West Coast USA. Nice. It's pretty far from here. Okay, I'm ready. Wait, did only 65 views? This has 163 views. PragerU Kids, by the way, only has 1.45 thousand subscribers. So that's pretty cool. Oh, you fucking losers. If I started a children's channel tomorrow, I could get it to that amount of subscribers in a week. Easy. Okay.
What if you could have all the money you want?
What would you do with that money?
Have you ever heard this saying?
A penny saved is a penny earned.
What does that even mean? And
Yeah, it's for kids. So you gotta put in put in all sorts of like little jokes. It's for little kids.
who still uses pennies?
Wow. Money can be scary and confusing, so here are 6 steps on how to earn and save money like a boss.
Bosses don't earn money. Labor creates all value. So just first little correction there.
Number 1, find the things you're good at. I mean, better than good. Good enough that people will want to pay you to do it. Maybe it's woodworking or juggling things that should never be juggled. Regardless, if you get good enough, eventually people will pay you for it. But that takes time. So while you work on your nunchuck skills, let's move to step 2.
Get a job. Don't sit around waiting for an Instagram.
This is. Whoa, slow down. You're telling me that if I get a job, they'll pay me money? That's some. Why didn't I think of that? Just get a job, obviously.
Model recruiter or a movie producer to come find you in your bedroom.
Hey, kid.
No, they're gonna find you at your job at McDonald's. That's where most people get recruited to be models. Is that their minimum wage entry level jobs?
I'm gonna start my movie. Are you for real, bro? No.
Unless you're in a movie with an unrealistic storyline, your first job is probably not going to be something you really love. You might get your start by mowing grass, or babysitting, or flipping burgers.
One eternity later.
Oof! Oh God! You can tell they're trying to like edit this for a younger crowd, and definitely it was some PragerU intern's job to like sit down and collect memes, to go like, what memes do kids use? I guarantee that.
You've got to start building your resume, and that means just doing some good old-fashioned hard work. Which brings us to tip 3.
Work hard. Everybody wishes that they had that special something that distinguishes them
But no, that doesn't make any sense. Because if the point of it is to build your resume, you don't put on your resume that you worked hard. You put on your resume what jobs you did and what skills you learned from that job. You can't just like, oh, I worked at McDonald's, and then in parentheses, I was super good at it. Everybody thought I was real cool. Like and anyone who's watching this, by the way, who works a McJob, you do not need to work hard. You simply don't. The thing is, there's no upper limit on the amount of work that your boss will ask of you. So there's no incentive for you to work hard. They will never reward you for it. No matter what you do, you're always going to be paid the same bullshit wage. So you might as well just give half effort. And whenever I say this, people get real mad because they're like, oh, you're just putting work on the other employees. No, they should all be putting in half effort as well. And thereby, if you don't, by the way, if you don't put in half effort, if you work extremely hard at your shitty job, you are setting the expectation that your boss can exploit all the other workers just as much as you're allowing them to exploit you. It means that they're less likely to hire more workers for relief. So just fucking workers of the world, sit down. You have nothing to lose but your McJobs.
somebody else. A special magical superpower that makes people respect them.
I respect you.
Well, I've got news for you. This superpower exists. What? But no one is born with it. It's called hard work. It's a superpower because
I gotta tell you, that is not how respect works. I do YouTube videos for a living. Do you have any idea how much respect people give me? Way too much. You see guys fucking pouring tar on the side of the road in the middle of like a fucking heat wave. Nobody's putting respect on them. Everybody's treating them like garbage. The idea that you will just receive respect by working hard and thereby, transitively, if you are not being respected, it must therefore be because you're not working hard enough, is just pure brain poison.
So few people actually do it.
Good, bro.
And that means when you do, your boss is bound to notice. And before you know it, you'll be moving your way up the ladder.
Number 4.
What ladder? What ladder? You work at McDonald's and you sweep the floor and all the other employees will not sweep the floor. But you will. And your boss is like, this guy right here, he's always sweeping. Let's move him up the ladder. Guess what? There's no fucking other position. You're either working as like a cashier / like line cook, whatever you would call it at a fast food restaurant, or you're the manager. There might be an assistant manager position, but there's like one. So there's not growth potential in every job.
When you get paid, stop. When payday finally comes, it feels good. So good, it's almost impossible not to go on highly unintelligent spending sprees. But even if you're not spending your money on random stuff, most people are still tempted to spend money on things that they don't really need. And most people are broke.
Pores? No, you expect nothing, Pores. Expect nothing. You don't get to have dinosaur skulls. That's for people with much money. That's for people who work even harder than you. You deserve not these skulls.
So don't be like most people. The first money that comes out of your paycheck needs to go in your back pocket or your savings account.
The first is this is not an improvised video. The phrase "the first money that comes out of your paycheck should go in your savings account" feels like how I would write it as a joke. Here's some savings advice, everybody. Don't spend your money. Instead, keep your money. Oh, cool. Don't spend it on useless luxury things like medical bills, rent, food. Just put the first money in your savings account.
This sounds really lame, but for most people, it doesn't actually rain money. It usually just rains problems. And you need an umbrella to prepare for those problems for when they come. And believe me, they will.
Number 5, spend less than you make. You know that joke when people make fun of someone at a chalkboard who can't add 2 + 2 correctly? Well, it turns out...
What? Oh, you know that joke? That joke about those types of guys that can't add 2 + 2? You've heard this old joke before, right? I don't have to go into the details about this joke.
There's a lot of these chalkboard people. So don't be a chalkboard people.
I want to be a chalkboard people.
No. If you make $2, don't spend $3 or $4 or anything more than $2.
Thank you for the helpful example of what numbers are bigger than others.
Seems easy, right?
Wrong.
Millions of people cannot figure this out because they think they need this and then they need that and all of the things. Pretty soon that $2...
Again, it's not because people... This is kind of a victim blaming mentality. The idea that like the reason people go into debt is simply because they buy too many luxury. They have too many iPhone 12s. Everybody just buys like 6 or 7 iPhones, and that's why they go into debt. It has nothing to do with like predatory lending, the fact that if you want like an education, if you want to buy a house, if you want to buy most consumer like large scale appliances, there's some sort of financing, a car, anything like that. You can't just like, or at least it's unreasonable to expect that most people would like show up with cash. It's something that you need to finance, and that can put you in a perpetual cycle of debt. I'll give you an example. When I was a kid, my mom never had any money. So occasionally she would go to a payday loan place. She would take out some money so that in theory she would pay it back when she got her paycheck. But invariably, when she got her paycheck, there was so much shit piled up that she didn't have enough to pay back the loan entirely, which meant that the interest became more than you could actually, more than she could pay back. So that incentivized her to take more loans until like the number swelled out of control. And that's the type of thing that happens to plenty of people. It's not just because they're dum-dums who are buying iPhones. It's because they don't make enough money, so they have to borrow money. And then even if they can't afford it, their other option is like be on the street.
$10 made becomes $10 spent. That is called financial ruin. Dave Ramsey does not approve. Do not fall in love with doing things you can't afford. If you have friends that do expensive things, find other friends. That's what I did.
You pores? You pores? Know your station. You are not to be friends with people who spend more money than you. You can't have friends like that. Know your place, pores.
But I haven't actually found them yet. I don't have friends. Remember, it's your money and you need it! So use your money to take care of your needs. It's okay to say, I'd love to, but I can't afford it. What you're actually saying is, I don't want to be the stupid chalkboard guy. I do not want financial destruction or the plague. 2 + 2 does not equal 22. We've been through this, people.
I'm sorry.
And if your friends don't understand, just let them be broke. Those people aren't gonna pay your bills if an emergency comes up, and there's always something else that you can do that doesn't cost anything and won't make you broke.
This is the most fucking moon logic. The idea that like you need to be told, oh, if you can't afford something, don't do it. Yes, if I have already made the calculation that I cannot afford it, I have decided not to do it. People don't just decide, oh, you know what? I can't afford to do this. However, I'm going to do it anyway. They think they can afford it, making this advice entirely useless.
Number 6, make your money work for you. Money is a lot like seed. If you plant it, it can grow and multiply. But if you eat it, it will not grow. It will go in your stomach and into your colon, and do not eat the...
Okay, but for real though, a lot of seeds are meant to pass through the digestive system. That's how a lot of seeds propagate.
Seed. 34% of Americans spend more money on coffee than they do on investments. That's a lot of chalkboard people. Ask your parents to help you invest your money.
The conclusion? You don't have
What
to
are the
be broke.
sources?
You don't have to be the chalkboard people.
Go do something about it.
I guarantee you, there is more that you can do than you realize.
Thanks for watching this how-to video.
Such as?
Hope you learned something new. See you next time. Donkey!
Ask your parents to accept my friend link on Robinhood so we both get a free stock.
Yeah, so that's a video for kids. So if you're a kid, the way that you make and earn money, you should know, is that you don't spend it. If you can't afford something, don't buy it. And also make sure to invest. But we're not going to give you any investment advice or like what type of investment. So just put it somewhere. Put it into anything. What does it matter? There's a great video title here from PragerU Kids that I have to check out. It's called How to Have Conversations with Real People. With real people.
Do you want to celebrate your birthdays alone? Is the idea of having a job you love boring to you?
I love this job. I'm bored.
Then don't watch this video. But if for some crazy reason the idea of having actual friends and jobs that you love and meaningful relationships sounds great to you, you need to master the art of having conversations with real people.
Sorry, is this news to anyone? It's if you want people to like you, you have to be able to talk to them. Yeah, like no shit. Also, it's not quite true. You can just be good looking. That's another thing you can do.
4 tips is all you need to start having conversations like a pro.
Like a professional conversationalist.
Number 1, practice good body language.
Oh, yeah.
Actions speak louder than words, and body language is no exception. Just look at these precious chins. This person wants to hit you. This guy is hiding something. This person is insecure and timid. And this guy ate too many Fiber One bars. Get the idea? If your body language is telling people things you'd be embarrassed to say with your mouth, don't worry. With a little practice, you'll soon be a master. Keep your hands away from your face and hair. Don't play.
Oh yeah, man. Like if I go to a party and someone's coming up to me and they're putting their hands on their face, I'm like, stay away. I was gonna hire you to do your dream job. Then you touched your face. Get out of here.
With your fingers. Keep your phone out of your hands. Stand up straight and smile. And make sure you look them in the eye.
Hello, kids. Hello, kids. Don't you hate it when people spend too much time on their phones? Fellow children? Don't you hate that? I, a child, hate that too.
It's weird when you don't let people look at your eyeballs. Number 2, come with a learning mindset. Treat each person you find like a gold mine. If you dig deep enough, you're gonna find some golden nuggets. Everybody has golden nuggets inside them. Whether it's a job interview or you're just stuck in line at a grocery store, you can always learn something. We're talking about deep life lessons and wisdom, which is one reason it's a good idea to talk to adults. Believe it or not, adults actually want to talk to you.
This is highly irresponsible advice. On so many levels, he's just encouraging children to speak to random adults. So that's already not great. But let's take away the whole predator aspect of it. Just like how annoying it would be if children just started talking to you all of the time. It's like, fuck off, I'm an adult. What are we going to talk about? Paw Patrol? I don't even watch it. Get out of here.
Want to know how you feel about things and what you have to say. But more importantly, they have really valuable things to share with you, like how to avoid mistakes they made when they were your age. The more you can learn from others' mistakes, the less mistakes you have to make yourself.
Yeah, like if a kid walks up to you in the grocery store and is like, can I get some life lessons? And I'll be like, yeah, so so here's some mistakes I've made in my life. Kid, you get tested for ADHD. Trust me on that one.
If you're not for me, then you are my enemy!
Only a Sith would deal in absolutes.
And who knows, maybe you won't have to get third-degree burns from the pit of lava you fell into when your legs got cut off in a lightsaber battle because you were trying to use the dark side to save your wife from certain death.
Remember that movie, kids? Remember the Star Wars movies from 20 years ago, kids?
Number 3, ask and listen. People love to talk about themselves, so just ask them thoughtful questions and let them talk. Side note, if nerves and awkwardness are holding you back from having conversations with people you don't know, don't fear. With this one tip, you can kiss the awkward turtle goodbye. That was awkward. What you need to know is that the more you focus on yourself, the more nervous and awkward you're gonna feel. So the solution is focus on the other person instead of yourself. And the more you do that—
I mean, this is ultimately harmless advice, but it doesn't feel true.
Yes, the more that nervousness and awkwardness will begin vanishing. It's like magic, but not. It really helps to have good questions ready to ask. Questions like, what are you interested in?
What are you interested in?
Or what do you do in your free—
Hey man, what are you interested in, man? Hey, what's up? Hey, oh, what are you buying there? Some Cliff Bars? Cool. Yeah, me too. Love Cliff Bars. What are you interested in? Is what I want to know right now.
free time?
So what do you do in your free time?
Or,
Are you lactose intolerant?
okay, maybe not that. When you're not asking questions, it's really good to sprinkle in words that show that you're engaged in the conversation, such as the following. The aha.
Aha.
The aha. The smile plus aha.
Is this video for aliens attempting to appear human? What is this? What are you interested in? Aha. Aha. That's how you have a conversation, like a professional.
The no way, bro.
No way, bro. No way!
The smiley random high five for no reason.
Yeah?
The The affirming but overly zealous comment.
I'm really enjoying this overly amazing conversation right now. It's amazing. You're a great pal to talk to, okay? Yeah, I like talking to you.
You get the idea. Just make sure you open up about yourself and share personal things in
What?
return. Just
You said not to do that. You said that that's the thing. Now I'm all confused. Now I'm so confused because you said not to talk about myself. Now I got to open up about myself, which is the thing that you said makes me nervous. Now I know I'm going to get nervous in this conversation.
don't be too vulnerable. Stay away from anything related to biological abnormalities or diseases, like your foot bunions, leprosy, or hot dog fingers. But anything else is...
That felt needlessly... I don't know. That was gross. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say that that was ableist, but like, oh, do not talk about biological abnormalities. It's like, that's a weird, because there's so many topics that one should avoid in conversation. That wouldn't be bodily functions. I could kind of see, don't walk up to somebody and tell them like about your shits. Sure. But like bodily abnormalities? What? That's such a weirdly specific phrase.
Is on the table. Number 4, land the plane. When you sense you're running out of things to say, don't just stop abruptly and leave. Like flying a plane, try to find a good place to land the conversation. Wrap it up by saying that you enjoyed talking and getting to meet them and that you hope to talk again soon.
I enjoyed talking. It was good to meet you. I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Even if you don't.
Like, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Is this not how you would teach an alien to behave like a human? And the title, by the way, How to Have a Conversation with Real People, kind of implies that you're not a real people.
And if it went really well, ask for their number so you can keep the conversation going later. This is how you turn a stranger.
That's not the message you're sending when you ask someone for their number. Just so you know, they're going to get a different read on that. If that's what you're going for, great.
Into a friend. And even if you don't become friends, you just never know what that connection might do for your future quest to get to Middle Earth and throw the ring in the volcano. Either way, it's a win. After exchanging contacts, take a deep breath and stand up straight. Now walk with confidence into the sunset. You did it. You had a successful conversation. And guess what? It feels good. But don't stop there. There are many more friends to be made, stories to be heard, and lessons to be learned.
Okay.
So go out there.
Okay. So just synthesizing the advice given here on this children's guide to conversation. Ask about them. Respond with like simple phrases that show you're engaged, like aha, and no way, bro, is another one. Talk to random adults. Just start conversations with random adults, and at the end, always get their phone number. So just you're at the grocery store getting your Cliff Bars. I don't know what kind of other things people buy at the grocery store. I mainly go there for Cliff Bars. And just some random kid comes up to you and they're like, what are you interested in? What? I don't know. What are you talking about? I enjoyed talking with you. Let's exchange numbers.
There and find the golden nuggets. There's only one left. I hope this is the final take, because this is our last nugget.
Thank you for watching this how-to video for PragerU. Hope that you learned something new, and see you next time.
That I will admit, I liked that last joke, saying I hope this is the last take because it's the last nugget. That's fun. More of that energy, I think, would do well. I think PragerU Kids is not as rich a vein as I might have hoped. So we can go back to, we've got a cutie raid. Welcome, Bad Bunny's cuties. Candies for cuties. We want to go back to regular PragerU, please. There's a lot of video options. Oh, that's a lot of rating. Hello. We're watching PragerU videos to make fun of them, of course. It's just a fun thing to do on a Thursday night, isn't it? Now we've got some choices, and I want to leave it up to the audience as well. I don't want to be the dictator of what videos we watch. So there's a lot of good options here. Let's just move this over a little so you can kind of... So what stands out? What stands out? What radical Islam and the woke have in common? I think that could be a fun one. I'm not doing the one about 9/11. What's going to be funny about the one about 9/11? How is that going to be funny? How am I going to make fun when they're like, 2,000 people died 20 years ago and be like, ha, yeah, but says your face. No, we're not doing the one about 9/11. It's not funny. You know what? I will be the dictator. I've decided to betray my values. I'm watching what radical in Islam and the woke have in common. That might include some discussion of 9/11. All right. You no longer get a say.
There were many American heroes on 9/11, but the greatest were the passengers and...
See? Chat, if you just hold your horses, sometimes 9/11 comes to you.
Crew of Flight 93. Not only did they avert what Al-Qaeda planned, a direct hit on the White House, but they also embodied Patrick Henry's credo, give me liberty or give me death. Do those words still have a meaning in America today? For 2 decades, I've spoken out against those strands of Islam that gave rise to Al-Qaeda. In this fight for freedom, I have faced many death threats. Yet, I have always consoled myself that in the US, freedom of conscience and expression were paramount values. It was partly for this reason that I moved here and became a citizen in 2013. It never occurred to me that free speech would come under threat in my newly adopted country. In 2014, I was invited to receive an honorary degree at Brandeis University and then ungraciously disinvited. Even when I first encountered what
Wait, hold on. Her example of free speech being under attack is that she was invited to get an honorary degree, but then they rescinded the offer. That's like... We've lost our freedom of movement in this country because Dave invited me over for a barbecue, but then canceled because it was raining.
Cancel culture. I didn't fret too much. I was inclined to dismiss the alliance of campus leftists and Islamists as a lunatic fringe.
What? So now they're an alliance. Now it's not simply that they have a similar view of the world. It isn't. This is so much wilder than I thought it would be. It isn't that they behave the same or it's a similar type of process. It's literally the woke are working with Al-Qaeda to silence freedom of speech in the United States.
They are not the fringe anymore. Many on the left, academia, the media, and now even the corporate world have
yes, the corporate world, where the left is. Yeah, the leftists in the corporate world?
Created in a generation of students an ideology that has much more in common with the intolerant doctrines of a religious cult than with the secular political thought I studied at Holland's Leiden University.
Such
in
as?
the debates after 9/11,
many weird.
People sought materialist explanations for the attacks.
As opposed to what? Supernatural explanations for the attacks? Are you gonna get mad that people didn't shake chicken bones to figure out how to... Ugh.
Jihadis lacked educational and employment opportunities. They were angry at American foreign policy in the Middle East, and so on.
Yeah?
I argued that none of these could explain the motivations of the plotters and hijackers, all of whom, in any case, came from middle-class and upper-class homes. Their goal was religious and political, to denounce Arab governments as corrupt and their Western allies as infidels. And
you don't think it has anything to do with the fact that the United States, like, armed them? Like, had them fight off the Soviet Union, let them keep all of the weapons, let them do whatever the fuck they wanted, and then they're like, why are they attacking us now? It doesn't make any sense. It's gotta be religion.
Ultimately to overthrow the existing order in the Middle East and establish a caliphate. American policymakers preferred the materialist explanations as they implied actions to solve the problem. Invasion, regime change, democratization.
These fucking policymakers always want to base their decisions on the material world simply because that allows them to solve problems. How corrupt can you get?
It was unpopular to suggest that the terrorists might have unshakable convictions having nothing to do with material considerations.
There is no such thing as a conviction that is entirely detached from material considerations. It is just nonsense words. You're just arguing gobbledygook.
2 decades later, we see a similar dynamic, only this time it's within America's borders. Naive observers explain the Black Lives Matter protests and riots of 2020 in terms of blacks' material disadvantages. These are real.
Again, this is something that I always find interesting when conservatives do this, is they always refer to black people as blacks. It seems like a very conscious choice to not say black people. I don't know if that's just me, but that always weirds me out.
As are the far worse socioeconomic problems of the Arab world, but they hide the leaders' real motivations. Their ideology goes by many names. Social justice, critical race theory, and intersectionality are just a few. For simplicity, I call it all wokeism.
Wokeism.
I'm not about to equate wokeism and Islamism.
Well, you did. You already did, though. You already said that the same thing was happening. The video is what radical Islam and the woke have in common. You are absolutely equivocating on these.
Is a militant strain of an ancient faith. Its believers have a coherent sense of what Allah wants them to achieve on earth to earn rewards in the afterlife. Wokeism is just another version of Marxism. It scorns religion and the idea of an afterlife.
First of all, based. I don't think that that's the core of Marxism. Marx said religion was the opiate of the masses. He was a strict materialist. Sure. I would say it has more to do with the relations between workers and the means of production than specifically de-Christianizing the West.
Wokeism divides society into myriad identities, whereas Islamist division is simpler, believers and unbelievers. There are many other differences, but consider...
For example, radical Islam that makes people into terrorists that fly planes into buildings, whereas wokeism, they say silly words that you find cringy. Is one difference. Another difference is one of them is primarily a bunch of people across on the other side of the world that we can dehumanize and launch drones against, and the other one are a group of people that are asking you politely to stop saying the N-word at Christmas. But Yeah, no, other than that, pretty much the same.
Resemblances. The adherents of each pursue ideological purity, certain of their own rectitude. Neither Islamists nor the woke will engage in debate. Both prefer indoctrination of the submissive and damnation of those who resist.
You don't find it a little ironic that you are saying that everyone who disagrees with me is their whole worldview is unshakable and based on shit they made up they're unreachable, cannot be reached, and also they're unwilling to come to the table for a debate.
The two ideologies have distinctive rituals. Islamists shout Allahu Akbar and death to America. The woke shout Black Lives Matter and I can't breathe.
And baseball fans shout, hey, batter, batter, hey, batter, batter. What the fuck is your point? They both have catchphrases, ergo the same. And can we just point out, first of all, Allahu Akbar isn't a terrorist thing to shout out. That just means God is great. So that's nothing wrong with saying that at all. But compare Black Lives Matter to Death to America. Now, I think most people on this stream would agree the world would be a better place without the United States as an institution. But phrasing it as Death to America does imply a certain mass killing. To juxtapose that with the phrase Black Lives Matter, which is like explicitly affirming the right of everyone to exist, to be alive, as though it's this out there wild terrorist phrase. Oh, they want black people to be alive. It is insidious is too generous a word, because something being insidious implies that there's anyone on earth that could be fooled by it. It's just so on the nose, like it's just so obvious what they're attempting to do here and how badly they're doing. This is what I'm always amazed by when I watch PragerU videos, is how unsophisticated their arguments are. It's always like the most like, they never give a reason for why they believe. They just say shit and they never justify it. It's like she said, they have a lot of beliefs in common and then didn't list any at all.
Islamists pray to Mecca. The woke take the knee. Both like...
All Muslims pray to Mecca. That isn't just Islamists. And taking a knee isn't just something random wokeists do. It's something that NFL players did to symbolize the fact. Well, I don't want to get into I don't remember the exact details, but it was like Colin Kaepernick started doing it against the way police brutality against black people in the United States. And then everybody got real mad for no reason and made him a household name based on that. It's not the same thing as praying to your God. It's...
burning the American flag. Both take offense at every opportunity and demand not just apologies, but concessions. Islamism inveighs against blasphemy. Wokeism wants to outlaw hate speech.
Oh no! Oh no, those two things are the same. That's the same. If the woke get their way, there will be no hate in the world. Help! Help! Something must be done!
Islamists use the word Islamophobia to silence critics.
They absolutely do not. They absolutely do not. You are just talking about Muslims now. That is not at all something. You're not going to hear fucking ISIS. The only reason these people are running away from us is because they're Islamophobes. That is patently untrue.
The woke do the same with racism. Both ideologies aim to tear down the existing system and replace it with utopias that always turn out to be hellish anarchies.
So, your problem with ISIS is that they create anarchy. You feel that ISIS, the reason that they're bad is because they don't have a firm enough grip on the people within the territories they control. This is your view of them?
Islamic State in Raqqa, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone in Seattle.
Completely equivalent. I see no difference between these two areas.
Both are collectivist. Group identity trumps the individual. Both tolerate and often glorify violence carried out by zealots. The grievances of Islamists and the woke aren't merely economic, and they won't be satisfied with jobs or entitlements or any other blandishments politicians are willing to offer.
Blandishments? Is that even a word? I've never heard that word before. A flattering or pleasing statement or action used to persuade someone gently to do something. Well, we learned something today.
Their motivations are ideological, and they'll be satisfied only with power, and then they'll demand more power. I cling to the hope that most Americans are still willing to fight, and if necessary, to die to preserve our freedoms.
Wait, hold up. You just said that the woke and the radical Islamists glorify violence, and now you're saying, I hope everyone is willing to die for the cause in the forthcoming bloodshed against these woke interlopers.
Our rights, our customs, our history. That was the spirit of Flight 93. We need to summon that spirit again. I'm Ayan Hirsi Ali, Research Fellow at the Hoover Institution at Stanford for Prager University. Thank you for watching this video.
Oof. I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Notice that she didn't say why her honorary degree was rescinded. Wonder what that was about. It's because the wokes will just call everybody they don't like racist, is why. There's no more to it than that. There's no need to even look into it, is the thing. Why is everybody making a big deal about it? It's just that the wokes are super... They'll call anyone they don't like racist. Just because they conflate all Islam with radical Islam. I'm sorry, is it racist now to call the world's second largest religion a bunch of terrorists? Is that suddenly racist out of nowhere? Okay, what are we gonna watch next?
Name this president.
Shut up. I don't want to hear about Nixon. Nobody likes Nixon. Okay, what's up? What's up, Prager University? Hold on, let me go back to your channel page. This is your channel page. All right. YouTube's all fucked up now. What's going on with you, YouTube? You used to be cool. There we go. What she said was, and this is apparently a quote according to Twitch user Mr. Fabulous, once Islam is defeated, it can mutate into something peaceful. Ooh. It's very difficult to even talk about peace now. They're not interested in peace. I think that we are at war with Islam, and there's no middle ground in wars. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, the wokes will call that racist. You know, just like to imply that we're at war with a religious or ethnic group. They'll call that racist. Okay. Can capitalists and socialists find common ground? No, definitionally not. Are we in the midst of a mass psychosis? Probably not. What unites Americans? Do interracial couples think the same? These are some cool titles. Muppet Babies pushes trans agenda on children. I think we've got a winner, everybody. We got to find out how the Muppet Babies are brainwashing our kids. The Muppet Babies are coming for you. I warned about the Muppet Menace and no one listened. And now look what happened. Okay.
Live.
Oh, we're live. Hi, everybody. It's Tuesday morning. Jill Simonian here with PragerU Kids. We hope you're having a good day.
Oh, this is a kids video for kids to learn about how the Muppet Babies are trying to push their trans agenda on you.
We've got hot topics that we're all furiously and quickly talking about over here, right?
Without leaving any time to look into them or understand them or do any research whatsoever.
That's exactly right.
Yes, and it all has to do with what? Muppet Babies.
Yes, my mustache. We'll be debating that the entire show.
We're debating Muppet Babies first. And
we got to debate the Muppet Babies. So this is a debate about Muppet Babies. We're serious thinkers.
We're going to talk about it a little bit later in this live after we talk about Muppet Babies. But we at PragerU Kids are doing a huge membership drive this month,
folks,
in August, for our prep membership.
Folks, we need this money. We're going to get to the Muppet Babies and our discussion there. But first, here's why you should give us money. Let's actually skip this.
To offset the types of shows that our children are now watching.
Telling them to join as well, because one of the greatest parts that's a lot like Prager Force, the same with Prep, is that it's an online community. It's a digital community where you get to meet with people and strategize and talk about things of people who have similar values to you. So tell all your...
Get to the Muppet Babies.
Exactly everything that Will said. It's an online community. Check out our gender agenda into their shows. Are we listening?
Okay.
I'll listen. Okay, go.
Finally.
Oh, we met the most amazing princess, but they ran away, and all they left behind was this.
Everyone, there's something I need to tell you. The princess who came to your ball tonight was me. I'm Gonzarella.
But Gonzo, why didn't Vu tell us?
Because you all expected me to look a certain way. I don't want you to be upset with me, but I'm
the royal ball.
It's so that we're all on the same page. It's a children's cartoon for literal infants about like what if puppets were babies, and they're mad that one of the baby puppet cartoons was not sufficially masculine. So that's what the rest of this 15-minute video is going to be discussing, just so that we're all meeting together on the same page about that one.
Okay, so there we are. There's the clip. I'm going to take this off because I can't hear myself with them. But yeah, there's the clip. Taylor, right now I want you to watch for reactions and chime in with any reactions that anyone is leaving. But here's my take. You guys, most of you know I'm a mom of 2 elementary school age kids. Muppet Babies is on Disney Junior. The target age is roughly age 3. I mean, my kids would have watched it when they were like 3 years old, 4 years old, 5, all the way up to 6 years old. This is preschool before kindergarten. Will, I know you don't have children, but let me ask you, do you think that this is age appropriate?
No, this is something
Why?
sexualized. Children is sick and perverted. So no.
Sexualizing. Just to be clear, they are sexualizing this puppet baby by putting it in different clothes. Just so we're on the same page, what Mustache here is saying is that when he sees the puppet baby in a dress, he gets uncomfortably horny about it being, because it's sexual, you see. It's a very sexual thing to be in a dress like a woman who are the sex gender, okay? You don't just show dresses on TV when our children could be watching.
Oh, it's not age appropriate whatsoever.
It's not age appropriate, and I say
Why?
that as a parent, and I wanted to ask, Will,
why isn't it?
Much cooler and much more.
How come?
Me and
Don't flatter me. You are just as cool as me, Jill. If not cool.
I think this experience, we really need to include the chat replay on this side here, because it's got some good stuff that I feel like we're missing. So this is a good comment from Leteri. He says, "I am a proud homophobe." Right there. That's pretty cool. It's the last comment there on screen. So that's pretty cool. Good stuff, PragerU.
We'll see. But yeah, this is not age appropriate. And this is exactly
Why?
Many of you know who are living it in all corners of the country. This is what is happening on our television shows.
Why isn't it age appropriate? Could someone explain to me why it's not age appropriate? It's a little puppet baby. It's a little baby version of a puppet as a cartoon. That's three very child-friendly things. What is the not child-friendly part?
Our movies for our kids in our schools. Many of us, those of you who are members and even not members of PrEP, you send me messages saying, the librarian read my child a book today about gender nonconformity. I haven't talked to my child about that yet. What do I do? These are things that are happening across.
When I was a kid, I would read Goosebumps books where children would get killed. I don't think your kid is going to get like all fucked up. You can turn them into just as much of a bigot as you are. Don't worry about it.
The country with this gender identity, non-binary ideology pushed onto kids. It's confusing. It's
confusing.
Not age appropriate, and it really strips our rights as parents. It completely strips.
It takes away my rights as a parent if the puppet wears different clothes. Disney never asked me what clothes it was okay for the puppets to wear, and the puppet was wearing different clothes, and I wasn't involved in the discussion. I didn't get a voice. Who knows what he could be wearing tomorrow?
Our rights as parents away, because as parents, we're the ones who are raising our kids. We are the ones who decide when we want to open these types of conversations with our kids.
I don't want my children learning about ideas until I've had a chance to get in there and explain those ideas to them. I don't want these children's television shows to be educating my children. That's not why I put the Muppet Babies on TV. I don't want my children to learn things that I didn't teach them already. Disgusting.
And age 4 and 5 is not appropriate. When a kid's in kindergarten, it's black, it's white, it's red, it's green. They want to color. They want to.
Whoa! I didn't teach my kids colors yet. I don't approve of kids learning colors in school. Let you be the parents' job.
They want to make friends. They don't want to have to think about complicated issues that are medically damaging to kids on a psychological and physical level.
What are you talking about? First of all, no kid under the age of like maybe 10 is going to see this episode of Muppet Baby, because I just cannot stress enough that this is about an episode of fucking Muppet Babies. Okay, so this is just where we're at now. No child under the age of 10 is going to think about Gonzo and his sexual identity and his gender identity upon watching this cartoon. It's never going to occur to them to think that. Unless you've already filled their head with like shit about it. It's never going to occur to them that that's... It's just going to be like, it's Gonzo is the princess. They never get... It's medically damaging to children when the puppet wears the wrong clothes. I'm sorry, but when the puppet wears the wrong clothes, my child's dick could fall off. Because the puppet wore the wrong clothes. It's medically damaging to children.
Like this. So, what do? Ban all of these programs?
Yeah, because for free speech, everybody, the champions of free speech. What we should do is we should ban every program that teaches a child an idea that I don't like for free speech. That's what free speech is. So that's how we keep our country free. That's how we enforce liberty.
I would say yes, but I know some people watching would definitely disagree with me. I don't know. I mean, this is horrible. I don't think that kids should be allowed to watch this. If we're not going to ban it, which I don't see that happening anytime soon, then parents need to ban their kids from watching this. If you're a parent, don't let your kids watch this. That's the first step. Boycott these companies that put out information that is harming children. They make it so normal. They make it so that something like this is incredibly normal. So the next generation that comes up, all of this is just completely normal.
No. Help. If we allow this to happen, within 1 or 2 generations, who knows what the puppets are going to be wearing? Puppets are going to wear some real fucked up clothes if something isn't done right now.
I know, and that's I agree, because I've gotten to the point now with my girls, and they are older, and I have had to have certain conversations with them before I really would have, because I know that all of this stuff is out there, and I also know that if I'm not getting ahead of it, and if I'm not on the offense, I'm not doing my due diligence.
Conservative parents are just so afraid of talking to their children about saying anything that might... about having to explain an idea to their child. It's the worst fate you could wish upon them.
As a parent, and that's our job to do as parents. I also want to alert everyone, if you don't know, I mean, we are based in California, and in California schools right now, in elementary schools, administrators and I will say outside programs are coming in and offering workshops to very young children, really propelling these non-binary discussions with children who may or may not have learned about it already, and they're giving...
First, you're telling me that children's cartoons are educating children. Now schools are teaching my children things? I have no rights as a parent. I wanted to teach my child about literally everything in the world. No, I'm sorry. The school is going to teach my children about complicated subjects before I get a chance to tell them what they're allowed to believe? It's the death of liberty.
Giving our kids information, they're giving our kids helplines that they can text without a parent's consent about if you question whether you're a male or a female, or if you think you're in between, text this number and one of our helpers will counsel you through it. And they're not telling us parents that they're doing this. Us parents have no idea this is happening.
What's next? Some sort of helpline that abused children could call? That takes away my rights as a parent to abuse them. I don't think children should have access to helplines or anyone that could talk to them in a way that I didn't approve of. I think that's cancel culture, and I just can't get over this, that my children are learning things at school. horrifying. It's George Orwell's 1984.
Happening. These counselors will talk to our kids, these strangers who we don't know who they are, without our consent, and they're pushing this notion to our children that if your parents don't believe in this, then your parents are bad people, and here are the steps that you can take to...
I sincerely doubt that these counselors are telling children that their parents are bad people. I'd say that more likely they're trained to specifically not say that. I don't think that's a thing counselors are allowed to say to kids.
Find your true self and to become your non-binary self, and it's very confusing. And
No. You can't tell children to be themselves. That's so confusing for them. They're going to be so confused by that. They won't understand. They're filled with all sorts of different Muppets up there. They don't know what's going on.
it's damaging because it does involve, when you get to a certain point,
Mhm.
hormone therapy.
Yes,
that
yeah.
will affect kids for the rest of their life. It is physically...
Yeah, or until they stop taking it. It would, yeah, but yeah.
damaging. In some areas, kids do not need, a parent's consent to undergo medical treatment.
Whoa, hold on. Okay. I made fun of them when this was about children learning things or children getting emotional support. But it's actually really scary to give children control over their own bodies. Children are our property. They're objects that look like people that we own, and we decide what is done to them. They don't get a say in it. They don't get to just believe whatever they want. That's not liberty. What about my
the
rights?
rest of their lives, and they can opt to take it without even having the reasoning ability and the wherewithal to know if what they're doing is to know what they're doing. And it's really sad. Our parents' rights are being stripped away, and we
It's like fucking. Hey, I'm gonna make an educated guess. There's probably a few trans people in chat. I might be totally off on that, but I'm gonna make an educated guess that there's probably a few. Have you found that the process of getting hormone treatment or gender reassignment surgery has been too easy? That there aren't enough checks and balances in the way? Do you find that it's you can just walk into a clinic and get treated within a day or so without having to getting any information about it? Would you say that that's the situation in the world? Would you say that's what's going on? Let me know, because I'm not educated on this stuff like PragerU is.
need to take them back immediately. I'm curious if there's any comments about this Muppet Babies.
There's a lot of comments.
Okay.
Patty says it's time for this grandmother to take Disney off and stop buying their products. No more.
Yeah.
Good.
Finally, when I would look for people with common sense values, I think of YouTube comments left by grandmothers.
Just buy old VHS of The Lion King.
Yeah.
And you'll be totally fine.
And I want to tell that grandmother, I am with you. No one was a bigger Disney fan than me, but because
That tracks. That absolutely tracks. I can see that.
and Muppet Babies is on Disney Junior, like we said, but it's to the point now where we have to provide alternative shows and entertainment and programming to our kids. And oh my God, Will,
Yes.
what if people started watching PragerU Kids shows instead of Disney and Netflix?
Hey.
Well, they didn't. I can tell you, they've only got about 1,000 subscribers. So
Haley
Their lives
Watts
would be
just said
completely
PragerU
changed.
needs TV shows.
We're doing it, Haley.
Come on, Haley.
So we're working, but here's the thing, Haley. I love Haley's comment. I like your style. I like your thinking. Everyone watching, this is what PragerU Kids is trying to do. We're starting with digital programming. We are starting with videos, with animation, crafts that teach American history. We're starting with digital
it's interesting how they can talk out of both sides of their mouth about how like these insidious leftists are out there. They're brainwashing our children, and we need to brainwash them harder. We need to win the brainwashing war.
Magazines that teach about the historical heroes that our schools refuse to teach about now. We're starting with all
Schools don't teach about any of the heroes of the great men of history anymore for some reason.
Secret. My background is in television. So it might not happen this year, but this is a personal goal and a goal that all of us at PragerU Kids are working towards. We want our shows on television. We want every single American family and teacher to watch our shows in the classrooms, at home. We want this PragerU Kids program to grow, but we can't do it without any of you. And that's why it brings me back to the membership. That's why we're doing this membership drive in August. Any other?
It's like, there it is. There it is. Like, it's like, folks, you need to be very scared about all of this. This is all super scary, but don't worry, because if you just give us a bunch of money, we'll take care of it. We'll get that off TV and we'll replace it with stuff that's better, that's not damaging. We'll do it. We'll fix it. But we need your money to do it. Please give us the money. Please give us the money, because we can't do it without the money. Like, just stunningly transparent.
Comments. So become a member of PragerU Kids. I'll give you a wink. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to add right now, our shows are available on YouTube. The ones that we have, it's a growing library of kids shows. And they're also, if you have on a smart TV, you can get our app for Roku, and you can watch our shows on your TV right there, just like that. We do have another few comments. Let's see. Heather says, this is infuriating. Disney's so awful now. I'm getting rid of them and Nickelodeon as soon as I can get out of my Dish contract. Girl.
That's just, that just says it all, doesn't it? Like, these people that get into like contracts with their cable company because they can't figure out how to get like Disney on their TV without signing like a 2-year deal to get it. They're like, oh, one of these days I'm going to cancel all my cable to stick it to these 2 channels. And then they'll learn.
I love the growls. We love to growl over here, yes.
Sandy says, a small child does not need to be thinking about sexualization.
Exactly.
Right. There's a reason why they are doing all of this. These people who create these programs or who...
I just want to, before he says the awful conspiratorial nonsense he's about to say, I just want to point a couple things out about this guy's wall. He's got a couple of products from that have been changed for political correct reasons, like the sorry to say this term, but the Cleveland Indians mascot, Uncle Ben's rice. There's an Aunt Jemima in there somewhere, I would have to imagine. So this is for PragerU Kids. It's okay for kids to learn about shit like racism, or to learn about like slavery. These are all things that children should be forced to learn about as soon as possible. And if you try to get that off of the maple syrup, then we'll fight you. But if the puppet wears a dress, they basically say that's basically you're making a sex puppet because it's wearing a dress. When I think of women as a conservative, they're the sex one. Women are inherently sexual, you see. So and men aren't. So to make a man more like a woman is to sexualize them, which is disgusting and against natural law. I can't tell which puppets God wants me to fuck.
in the schools doing this, the people who are on the phones, these people feel bad about their own lives, so they try to push it onto children. They feel insecure about their own ideas and horrible things that they have, that they feel like someone else has to agree with them, so they push it onto children because no one who has actually any sort of common sense will actually agree with these kind of things or think that they're real.
And folks, that's why we need your money so that we can get our shows on to teach kids what we believe.
Everything is based on lies.
Yeah, it's all lies.
It's
for sure.
lies. It does not.
It's lies. Puppets don't wear dresses. It's lies. Gonzo's not a princess.
Walk hand in hand with science. It does not walk hand in hand with truth or logic or reason. And we are living in an age.
Folks, this episode of the Muppet Babies, if you ask me, it is not scientifically accurate. It is not scientifically accurate. I think it's time that maybe we paid a bit more attention to science and told the Cinderella story a bit more scientifically than letting the puppet wear a dress.
Age of lies. And there's already been a generation of students who have been educated through lies. And if you don't lose a country like that, I don't know how you lose a country.
It's like when you know that you have the truth, you don't have to go around like proving to everyone that you have the truth because it's evident, right? But when your entire argument or the things that you structure your society on are built on lies, then you have to mandate the lies because otherwise people are
a little bit of projection there. You're literally talking about banning a cartoon because you don't like the message of it. And saying, but everyone else, they want to mandate the lies by putting them on TV.
going to seek out the truth on their own. This is why they're so hard on pushing it, because they know that it's lies and they have to just shove it down our throats to brainwash us with it. If it was the truth, it'd be self-evident, but obviously not. This isn't common sense. It's disgusting and perverted. And
if it was the truth, it would be self-evident. You just can't educate kids about anything then, right? The whole point of kids is that their brains aren't done cooking. They don't know nothing. They come out of the pussy. They don't know shit. They don't know a fucking thing. You got to teach them you got to teach them how to walk. You got to teach them how to use a fork. They don't know nothing. It's not going to be self-evident to a child what a square root is, unless you get a little fucking Sir Isaac Newton. You have to teach children ideas. The fact that the idea had to be established to children does not mean that it's untrue. This is the most wild nonsense. You're literally talking about the entire concept of allegory. You started an entire children's channel to use fables to teach children the values that you want. And you're saying that, oh, but if it was true, they'd already know it. It's nonsense.
And all you guys who know the truth need to push out the truth out there.
You want to do one of our kids' shows, Will?
Yes, I would
think we
love
should
to.
have Children's Hour with Will Witt.
I would love to.
Let's do
He's
it.
got to shave that mustache first.
Yeah, we might need to do that. Okay,
Show up in my
do we
white
have
van.
a clip of Leo and Layla just to end this on a very hopeful note?
On a hopeful
the Muppet
note.
Babies clip sort of surprised and disturbed a lot of us at how it was targeting such young kids. Here's something
Targeting
alternative
children.
that your kids can watch.
Wait, which one?
Leo and Layla. I think I
Hold on, Will. I'll slack
sent you the link,
episode. Do you have
but
it?
this Leo and Layla is our animated series that a new episode is posted.
This is a comment from Pretty Prudent. What gays do in private should not be referred to as sex. Create another word for that perversion. Cool fan base you got there, PragerU.
Every few weeks, we're working on getting more, depending on depending on and thankful for our members who graciously donate to support our kids' shows. But Leo and
Arnie M says, I want to watch my child shows. I'm 67 years old.
Layla's an animated show that actually teaches our kids about history. And I think this latest episode is about Paul Revere. And we could just watch a little clip. It's adorable. It's about a brother and sister, Leo and Layla, and they learn about Paul Revere and they travel back in time through her iPhone app. And it's the kind of programming that is appropriate for our kids and it's educational? Do we have...
Wait, it's educational? What? I haven't taught my kids about Paul Revere yet. This is bullshit. You're taking away my rights as a parent.
Here we go.
You did a fantastic job stalling.
I know how to fill. I know how to fill.
That was so good.
Word salad?
Yeah,
maybe,
exactly.
maybe not.
I wanted to show you this.
Oh, is that the ad?
Watch an ad real quick.
Oh, it's an ad. So yeah, you can find all of our videos on.
Just drink it in. This group of people who are currently soliciting donations right now in the middle of this fucking thing, this stream, they're currently soliciting donations so that they can get their programming on television. They're trying to present themselves as responsible media personalities. They couldn't line up a clip from their own goddamn cartoon, so they had to play it on YouTube, but they didn't know how to stop the ads from playing on YouTube, so the ad just started playing on stream. And they want your money.
On YouTube, you can also find them in a much better place on PragerU.com/kids for free.
Well, without ads too.
The ice cream man is coming.
Hold up a second here. Gonzo wears a dress that's sexualized, right? That's sexualizing a child. This child has like rouge on and like fucking cat eye makeup and like...
The ice cream man is coming. Quick, can you please buy me some? The ice cream man is coming. The ice cream man is coming.
Easy, Leo. Who do you think you are? Paul Revere?
Who?
Blink.
I'm filling out this study guide for my
Blink.
Revolution test. This guy, Paul Revere, is famous for yelling, "The British are coming! The British are coming!"
Cute, right?
But I'm not finding
okay,
much
we can
info.
just...
They didn't blink! That was so scary!
Flavor of Paul Revere, and throughout the little episode, they meet someone who is not Paul Revere, but very important to Paul Revere's story. And I'll let you watch the episode, and I'll let you, Will.
Oh yeah,
watch
you
the
don't want to
episode, because
spoil
you
it.
might learn something too.
I watched this episode. It's really good.
Good. I'm glad. Yay. See, Will likes it.
Yeah, Taylor
He
read
likes
it to me over some glass of warm milk, and it was really nice. So
It is nice.
You can't sleep at night with
We are a bit. You can't let this be the replacement for the Disneys and the Netflixes and all.
Can I just add that when I animate Bobby Duke, I manage to make him blink?
All of the programming that is just becoming so compromised and politicized and inappropriate for our kids. PragerU Kids is our answer.
Yeah.
Join us, become
Get rid of this politicized children's media and go to Prager University Kids for non-political children's entertainment. No agenda there. No point of view.
member. We can't do this without you. We're so thankful for all of you. If there's one comment of hope, I will take it. If not, we will sign off and encourage people to come join us.
Sure. N. Arnett says, on PragerU Kids, you covered 2 books that I've read to my kids, Emperor's New Clothes and The Little Red Hen. Thank you.
You're welcome. All based on truth. Let that be your story time.
That actually happened to me. A guy sold me what I thought was an outfit. I actually left the house naked. It's all based on truth. Also, hens can talk.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. Any final words, wise words, Will?
Guys, all this struggle, all these horrible things happening means that you have the most opportunity ever to do something amazing. That's what all of this means.
Is this dude on Quaaludes? What's up with this guy? He's on something. He's not acting like a sober person. I've seen him in other videos and he does not act like this.
So don't take the struggle and then get nihilistic. Use the struggles and hard times and horrible things happening to make your life better.
I appreciate those words because it's back to school and I'm struggling, but I'm going to take Will's words back to school and continue onward positively.
Yes.
Thanks. All right. Thanks for watching. Join us at PragerU Kids. Become a prep member. PragerU Kid.
Oof. Oof. Grim. Grim. But I am interested in this video also, why even atheists should teach their children about God. I think that'll be, but just let's take a moment to just sit with the trauma of watching the previous video because, ooh, that was bad. Wasn't it? It's okay that that video hurt you. It's okay to feel that.
As a therapist, I'm often asked why depression and anxiety are so common among children and adolescents. One
It's probably because the world is ending. Is probably a big reason.
explanation,
And
almost surely
they'll be alive to see it, unlike the target demographic of PragerU.
the most neglected, is declining interest in God and religion.
Oh yeah.
I see
no,
the
yeah.
consequences.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's kids. Kids used to be so religious back in the day. No wonder they're so depressed and anxious. No one's ever been made anxious by religion.
Of this in my practice almost every day. And this is not merely my personal observation. A 2018 Harvard study involving 5,000 people examined how being raised in a family with religious beliefs affects the mental health of children. The study found that kids who attended a religious service at least once per week scored higher on psychological well-being measurements and had lower risks of mental illness. Weekly attendance was also associated with higher rates of volunteerism, lower probabilities of both drug use and early sexual initiation.
So, just a couple things about that. One, any child that is being taken to a religious observance once a week has parents that are paying attention to them, that are on a schedule. It strongly implies that they're parents that, at the very least, aren't just like letting their kids be like latchkey kids, right? So that's going to obviously lead to children having better mental health than typical. Secondly, of course, there'd be like I went to church every Sunday as a kid, and I gotta tell you, I was horribly anxious and depressed.
And a sense of purpose. Yet despite all the evidence that religious involvement leads to positive behaviors, Gallup reports that the U.S. has seen a 20% decrease in attendance at formal religious services in the past 20 years. In 2018, the American Family Survey revealed that nearly half of adults under 30 do not identify with any religion. From a purely psychological point of view, this is not a good trend. Nihilism.
Nihilism. Yeah, we're just talking psychologically. There's no other reason. It's just psychologically.
The belief in nothing is a rich fertilizer for anxiety and depression.
That is not what nihilism is. Nothing exists. Like, nothingness, everyone believes in nothing.
In contrast, the belief in God, a guardian figure who loves us, is an invaluable source of support and comfort.
Those are your only two options. Either there is no purpose to life and we're all empty husks and our lives have no meaning or value, or God is real and he loves you and will support you no matter what. Those are the only two things.
I am often asked by parents, how do I talk to my child about death if I don't believe in God or heaven? My answer is always the same. Fake it.
Just lie to your kids to avoid a difficult conversation. I'm a psychologist, and I'm advising you to lie to your kids rather than, have them develop some sort of emotional coping strategy for death. Just lie to them. They'll go to heaven. It's fine.
There are many things you don't tell your children the full truth about. For instance, if your children hear about a tragedy that has occurred in your community, you tell them that it will never happen to them. We don't have a crystal ball.
The fuck you do? What are you talking about? This is such bad advice. It's like if your house, like, you teach children that bad things can happen to them, and that's why they have to be safe. Like,
and cannot know that bad things will not happen to our children. Yet we reassure them with a hopeful narrative. The same applies to believing in God and heaven. Even if you believe that when your life ends, your bones turn to dust and you are gone for eternity.
when you die, your bones do turn to dust. That part is not open to dispute.
Such beliefs don't help children. They only scare them and create anxiety over death and dying.
Yeah, but hell and the devil, that doesn't scare children. That doesn't create any anxieties about death or dying.
Belief in a benevolent God and a heaven does help children with their fear. In our current age of...
Yeah, well, I guess it sort of depends on what their fear is, right? Like, for example, I'll give you an example of a time when that might not help a child with their fear. Is if, say you're a child and you're gay, and your parents tell you that God is watching you all of the time. You can see inside your heart. And all of the stuff in the Bible, that's all. Yep, all that stuff happened. Do you see how that might make a child more afraid?
broken families, distracted parents, school violence, and nightmarish global warming predictions.
You believing in God does not prevent school shootings. If you tell your child that God exists, they could still get shot. They're not bulletproof in that scenario. And also, earlier, remember when I made the joke about how the reason depression could be on the rise is because the world is ending? And now they're like, oh, you're just scaring your kids by telling them the truth. It's so amazing to watch the last video that we watched where they went on this big tirade about how the world has to be, and all of the things we tell our children have to be based in truth and science. And then now it's like, yeah, but you got to lie to them so that, you know, they don't think that bad things can happen. The idea that it is your job as a parent to prevent your children from ever being upset is so heinously toxic. It is absolutely buck fucking wild that this woman as a therapist would say that. And I guarantee that she worked backwards from the conclusion that she wants everybody to be forced to pretend that God is real.
Imagination plays a big part in children's ability to cope. It is far better for kids to use their imagination constructing something positive, such as a God who cares about us, than the dark nihilistic idea that there's no creator and protector, and no...
Oh, but by the same logic, why not just tell them, don't worry, Spider-Man's out there, he's going to protect you. Dad, I was watching TV, there was a fire. What if we're in a fire? Oh, don't worry, Spider-Man will protect you from the fire. Why does it have to be God?
Purpose to our existence. I am also frequently asked how parents can instill gratitude and empathy in their children. Again, the best answer is involvement in an organized religion. All traditional faiths encourage gratitude and empathy as antidotes to entitlement and selfishness.
Yeah, they also encourage people not to kill, and people still get murdered. You could just cut out the middleman and yourself encourage gratitude and empathy, rather than relying on the church to do it for you.
These are the building blocks of strong character. They also protect against depression and anxiety. Additionally, religion provides children a chance for community. Being with people who share their faith can act as a buffer against the emptiness and isolation of modern...
So does soccer practice. Soccer practice could do that as well. Dungeons and Dragons, letting them play video games even. They'll make friends doing that. So, kind of feels like that's not unique to church.
Culture. This is more necessary than ever in a world where teens can have hundreds of virtual friends and few real ones. And religion helps teach children mindfulness.
You know that those people are real, right? You know that when you talk to someone on your phone, there's someone on the other end talking to you, right?
A sense of self-control and discipline. Your young children might not be aware they are entering a house of worship, but they do know they're supposed to act in an appropriate manner when they are there. They have to relax their bodies and calm their minds. It is true.
That is absolutely not my experience with going to church as a kid. Walk into any church in the United States, you will see kids screaming, crying, running around.
True that if you feel ambivalent about God and religion, your children will likely follow your example. However, if you practice religion or send your children to religious school, knowing it is good for them, you might surprise yourself and get something meaningful out of it too. In other words, your children may bring you back to faith. It's certainly worth an extended...
Okay, but if I don't believe, right? Starting from the, because this video is called Why Even Atheists Should Teach Their Children About God. That's the title of the video. And I'm not anti-religion. I believe whatever you believe. It's none of my business. But purely on a rhetorical level, purely if your job is, if what you're intending to do here is to convince atheists, why would an atheist see it as a good thing that they would develop faith? Unless you already believe in God, why would you consider it a good thing to start believing in God? And I think that belies like the truth of this video, because this video isn't actually for atheists. It isn't trying to convince atheists to do this. It's giving people that already believe children should be forced to do this a bunch of bullshit arguments that they can go and throw in people's face later. That's what this is for.
Experiment for their sake and for yours. Consider one more argument. If you take the idea seriously that your children should be...
Wait. Is this going to be Pascal's wager? Do you think she's about to Pascal's wager? That would be hilarious.
Free to choose or reject God and religion. They need to be exposed to God and religion. How else will they be able to make a free and informed choice?
Okay. By this logic, should I not then expose them to every faith? Why just one? Do you think that the line falls that my children should be free to binary either be religious or not, but beyond that they have no rights? And furthermore, I find it a little telling that the last video we watched was all about how children can't be informed about uncomfortable ideas like gender identity or being non-binary because they're not ready for it, they can't handle it. But you got to expose them to this idea so they can make an informed choice, don't you think?
We live in a competitive, stressful society that idealizes materialism, selfishness, and virtual rather than real human connection. Having a religious community and a belief in God is the best antidote to all of that. Whether children choose to continue to practice as adults is something you cannot control, but at least give them a chance to believe in God and find comfort in religion. They deserve it. I'm Erica Komisar, psychoanalyst and author of Chicken Little, The Sky Isn't Falling, Raising Resilient Adolescents in the New Age of Anxiety, for Prager University.
Who is this woman? Erica Komisar. Been in private practice in New York City for over 30 years. The Contemporary Freudian Society. Absolutely grim. Absolutely grim. I'm going to take a quick bio break, and I will be right back. Don't leave. We're going to have some more PragerU when I get back. You may not leave. You do not have my permission. I'm back. If you left, you're called out. If you left, I'm so mad. Whew. All right, we need a fresh vid. We need a fresh one. Is fascism left or right after this? It's a fucking masterpiece. I'm pretty sure I've already watched that on stream. Pretty sure I have. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ah, here's a good one. I found a good one. This one's called, this one that I'm about to show you, it's called Who Has Privilege? So I'm excited to find out who it is. Who do you think who do you think has privilege? I think a lot of different people do. Even me.
Privilege. What's the obsession with privilege? It's driving me nuts.
It's Adam Carolla. I'm just over the moon. As a millionaire, as a white male millionaire, I don't understand this obsession with privilege. Oh, it's driving me nuts. All of these people going around talking about privilege. I don't get it. What even is that?
Not only didn't I have privilege, I don't even know how to spell it.
That I believe.
There's a D in there somewhere, isn't there? If I told you a story about a kid who grew up poor, product of divorce, did a lot of dumpster diving, sister ran away at age 14, welfare and food stamps. If I told you that kid was black, you'd go, well, yeah, that's because of systemic racism. But if
No, I wouldn't. That's not how conversations work. I'd be like, oh God, is that kid okay? Can we do something to help that child that you're talking about? I wouldn't be like, ah, yes, systemic racism. That explains this individual case.
If I told you that kid was me, you'd go, what?
No, I wouldn't, because you were obviously setting that up. But one thing that did kind of lead people to think it would be a black kid was that the graphic you used, the picture on the screen when you were telling the story, was of a black child. So that did lead me to think of a black child with looking at one. But other than that, it was pretty obvious you were talking about yourself. Just based on the context of what this video is about and the previous sentence that you had just said about how you didn't come from privilege. So fucking got him.
What are we doing? What happened to your privilege? The real white privilege isn't privilege. It's knowing that nobody cares about you, good or bad. No one's...
That in and of itself is privilege. Even if that were true, that would be a tremendous privilege. You motherfucking clown. Like, when black people are pulled over by the police extremely give a shit about them in a very bad way. The fact that you can go through life with nobody caring about you one way or the other is an enormous privilege. The fact that you don't have to worry about people catcalling you when you walk down the street is an enormous privilege.
No one's going to do anything for you because you're white, and no one's going to do anything against you because you're white.
Again, that is incredibly, that is a level of privilege that millions of people can only aspire to.
I'll give you an example. When I get pulled over by a cop, I assume it's either because I was speeding or the cop's an overficious jerk.
Yeah, do you know why you think that, Adam Carolla? Because you're white. And white people don't get pulled over by the police for just driving while white. So then if a white person gets pulled over, they assume, oh, that makes sense. I must have been speeding, or the cop is an asshole.
Either way, my skin color doesn't play in. If I was black, I'm assuming that it was driving while black, or that he was profiling me. Let me give you another example.
Does he hear himself?
Of the white privilege I'm talking about. The privilege of not obsessing over privilege.
Yeah, dude, because you already have it. Yeah, of course. You don't have to think about it because it doesn't. You already had the. Why bother? It's not going to change my life. Yeah, that is absolutely a privilege.
I had a neighbor call the police on me during the day, during the middle of the week, when I was doing a construction project because our phone lines got crossed. So I picked up the phone to call Anawalt Lumber. My neighbor picked up the phone. I said, oh, sorry, I think our lines got crossed somehow. Next thing I know, a police cruiser rolled up to my home.
What the fuck are you talking about, dog? What is this story?
Now, if I was black, I would have no choice but to think that was racially motivated. I mean, why else would your neighbor call the cops on you because your phone lines got crossed?
Ah, yes, I see. So if one could make that mistake, it therefore stands to reason that all black people that assume that they're being racially profiled, they're just dummies who don't know the difference. That makes sense. That's got to be what it is, right? There's no data we could look at about whether or not black people and white people commit similar crimes at the same rates, who gets arrested more, who gets sentenced more harshly. No, what it probably is they're just imagining it, probably. But and I can tell because I can put myself in the mindset of a black person and think what they would think in my situation. That's one of the things I'm able to do. But I don't really think about this. I don't really think about this stuff. I don't know why everybody else is so obsessed with this stuff.
Unless, in fact, you're black. And as a matter of fact, I'm not even black, and I think it was a racist incident. Do you get it? Whites do have privilege, but not the privilege the race hustlers are selling. I don't think people really drill down enough on this. I've had horrible things happen to me my entire life. I've had school teachers and counselors that were horrible. I've had construction foremen who treated me like crap. I've had program directors who treated me like crap. And the good news is I'm white. So I just know they're a-holes.
Yeah.
Not racist. Why do we want anyone worrying about someone else's privilege? Who cares?
It is absurd how much he is willfully missing the point. But to say, well, I know that if someone is shitty to me, it's because of a personal failing of theirs, and I don't have to think about this stuff. And that's how you can tell that this privilege stuff is overblown. Because I don't have to worry about it. Boy, don't you think, Adam, and since you're so good at putting yourself in the minds of black people, don't you think that maybe when they look at that situation, they have to kind of think about it, right? Because they do get racially profiled and people are racist to them? Bud?
This is America. You make your own breaks. Anyway, isn't the goal not to judge a person by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character?
Yeah. Oh, boy. Oh, love it. The only thing Martin Luther King ever said, he said that, he got on stage, he said, I have a dream that one day my children will be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Okay, bye. And then he left and he never said anything else ever. That's the only thing he ever said. And then the fucking liberals shot him because they want to judge people on their race. That's what the race hustlers do.
Somewhere. What's the guy's name? Marty? Privilege means you have it better than most, not that you have it better than some. How
No,
about
it
tall
doesn't.
people?
Not in this instance. It's in this instance, it's that you like in school when they would say something is a privilege, not a right. That didn't mean that only some people got it, right? That didn't mean that like less than half the class was able to do that thing. What are you talking about, dude?
People. Tall people have an advantage over short people. Thin people have an advantage over fat people.
Yes.
Attractive people, you're welcome, have an advantage over the homely.
Yes, these are all examples of privilege, Adam. Yes, good job.
There are always going to be people lower than you on the totem pole, no matter what color your skin is. Wait a minute, are we allowed to say totem pole? I feel like that's racist.
No, it's not racist to say it, but it's a bit racist to use it in the way you did. Specifically because you're using the concept of a totem pole to justify why racism doesn't exist. Yes, if only there were some way to look at privilege in a sort of multifaceted approach, like the where different forms of privilege and oppression meet in sort of sectional ways. If only there was some way that
Every minority person living in the United States in 2021 is doing better than people living in the Congo, Bangladesh, or many other places.
Well, hold on, though. There are people in the Congo and Bangladesh who are millionaires and who live in giant houses and have all sorts of shit that I don't have. So I can't say how you can say that the United States, or I guess I don't live in the United States, but in Canada, there's privilege there. Because I don't understand ideas.
Around the world. And if you don't believe me, then why they're all trying to get here?
They're not.
Do the math.
Do you believe, Adam, that literally every person in the Congo has like a pending visa to move to the United States? Could it be, Adam, that the reason that they all want to move to the United States is because if one country has a bunch of money and a bunch of other countries don't, and that country got it through unfair means, it still has a better standard of living, so maybe they want to go to the country that has all of the shit that they stole from your country? Adam, do you think maybe that could be it, Adam? Maybe?
A systemically racist country that people are trying to kill themselves. They're literally risking their lives trying to get into the systemically racist country. Let's just say this country was a facility. And the facility was systemically racist.
But Adam, they were doing that like when there was slavery in the United States. There were people risking their lives to get into the United States when there were Jim Crow laws on the books. Are you going to claim that those weren't systematically racist?
And every year, people died trying to hop the fence and climb the wall to get into the facility? People of color?
Yeah, but imagine instead that in that facility, they kept all of the money that they stole from everyone outside the facility. Then it kind of makes sense why people would be trying to get in, right?
Would that make sense? The great news is that if you're willing to bust your hump, there's no better country to do it in. So maybe we should stop.
Well, I mean, there are countries with better labor laws. There are countries with better health care. Countries with better standards of living, better literacy rates, better pretty much everything. So I feel like there's plenty of places that it's better to bust your hump in than the United States.
Obsessing on skin color or gender or sexual proclivities and get on with the hump busting. You know what would fix all this nonsense? A little gratitude. You got up this morning, you put your shoes on, your fridge was full, you hugged your kids, you said goodbye to your wife, you said hello to your girlfriend. Gratitude for living in the best country in the world at the best time to live in the best country in the world, whatever your skin color is.
Why I don't live in that country? So I don't understand why I had all this food in my fridge and why I was able to hug my wife.
There's no better country than the United States.
People in the Congo, they don't hug their wives. They can't do it because they don't live in America. It's not a good country like America where you can hug your wife and kids.
I'm Adam Carolla for Prager University.
This video was made possible through a generous donation from the HN and Francis C. Berger Foundation.
Thank you for watching this.
Just bleak, isn't it? Just bust your humps. Bust your humps a little. You'll be fine. If the police are pulling you over, it's not because of racism. It's because you didn't bust your hump. You didn't bust your lovely lady lumps. Oof. That was dire. I think that's the Dinesh D'Souza video I made a video about, right? Is communism moral? I definitely watched this when I used to be Antifa on stream before. That would be a good one. All right. No, this is the Dinesh D'Souza one I watched. Capitalism or socialism, which one is more democratic? That's the Dinesh D'Souza big boy video. Don't call Dinesh D'Souza convicted felon Dinesh D'Souza. It's an insult to all of our brave felons. I support our troops. I've also watched this Who's More Radical, the left or the right? Okay, here's one. I got one for you. The intolerance of tolerance. Tolerance is actually the real intolerance.
You know what the word tolerance means? If you do, I salute you, because I have no idea anymore. I did once. Everybody did.
Hello. I'd like to make a video about this subject, but I don't know what it is. So, let's begin.
Once. But now, thanks to the left, the word is totally up for grabs. Actually, it's worse than that. Tolerance now means the opposite of what it once meant. Tolerance now means intolerance, and intolerance now means tolerance.
So you do know what tolerance is, then?
Confusing? Yeah, I know. But stay with me.
Yes.
There's a big payoff at the end. It's called clarity. To be tolerant today simply means you agree with politically correct, that is, left-wing positions. That's all it means.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, a little bit. If you're tolerant, it simply means that you agree with the left. It's kind of a cell phone. There's a troll in chat.
This is easy
Hold
to...
Hold on. Let's get rid of it. Who is troll? I'm not. Who is it? Who ban? I'm confused. Who is troll? Okay. Okay.
Show. Name one position that differs from the...
Reclaim is the troll. I'm not seeing this person. Ah, reclaim. All right. Yeah, let's get rid of them. Sorry, we don't tolerate that here. The left isn't tolerant.
The left that they don't label intolerant. When you differ with the left on any subject, and I mean any, the people who claim to be tolerant don't attack your position.
Such as?
They attack you.
You know that meme that's like, I'm getting canceled for my conservative beliefs. And they're like, oh, you're getting canceled for thinking taxes should be lowered? And like, no. Are you getting canceled for thinking the flag burning should be illegal? No. Oh, which beliefs are you getting canceled for? You know the ones.
They label you, as Dennis Prager puts it, six-herb, sexist, intolerant, xenophobic, homophobic, Islamophobic, racist, bigoted.
Yeah, those are all bad things to be. And hey, Dennis, stop trying to make six-herb happen. That's not happening.
And if that fails, there's always the ever-popular hater. This is obviously not tolerance. This is blatant.
It's not tolerant to use words to describe things. It's if I'm insulted, you're not tolerating me. So that's not, you can't do that.
Intolerance. Your accusers are guilty of doing exactly the same thing they're accusing you of doing.
What?
Here's what they're missing. In order to be...
A diagram that sentence. Sorry, I need to hear that again.
This is blatant intolerance. Your accusers are guilty of doing exactly the same thing they're accusing you of doing. Here's what they're missing. In order to be genuinely tolerant of someone, you first have to disagree with them, since you don't tolerate people you agree with.
That's not true. You're using two different definitions of the word tolerance there, but in a situation where, say you're in a room where there's a woman and a sexist guy, you cannot be tolerant of both, because to do so inevitably leads to the woman getting bullied, right? So like there, the act of tolerance would be to not accept the sexism of the guy, right? Do you see how that's an act of tolerance? I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's stunning to me that like if I were going to address this topic, that would be the first thing I address is the paradox of tolerance. He's not even going to bring it up.
The classic definition of tolerance means to recognize and respect others' beliefs and practices without sharing them. Notice the element of disagreement is key to tolerance.
But also, not everything should be tolerated. There's a line between what should and should not be tolerated. To say that not tolerating literally all beliefs makes you intolerant is nonsense. You can be tolerant while still being intolerant of racism. Like,
without it, true tolerance is not possible. This is critical. We don't tolerate people we agree with. We're on the same side. We only tolerate people we differ with, yet still choose to treat decently.
First of all, that is not how the left understands tolerance. We definitely tolerate people we agree with. The left hates everyone they agree with. So you don't know what you're talking about. Buddy, if you think that we're intolerant of people we disagree with, you've never been in a room full of leftists agreeing with each other, because they do it quite angrily.
And with respect. This vital ingredient of real tolerance is completely missing in the politically correct version. Nowadays, if you differ with others on culturally sensitive issues like sexual orientation or religious beliefs, you're labeled intolerant no matter how you treat.
Yeah, it's because you're being intolerant. If you're saying, well, I don't think people should believe this religion, you're not tolerating their religion. Why is it that they're not allowed to say, you're intolerant? Like, to call someone else intolerant is itself intolerance, but not tolerating someone isn't.
Treat them. The left says all behaviors and ideas have equal value, that no
they
behavior
don't. No one says that. Literally no one says that or thinks that.
is any better than any other. They don't act that way. Tolerance is a one-way street.
If that, okay, yes, I'll meet you there. If that was the standard, then absolutely it would be entirely hypocritical to be mad at racists or whatever. But nobody thinks that literally all ideas are of equal merit.
Left. Openly declare that sex differences are real, as Harry Potter novelist J.K. Rowling did, and see what happens. You'll be called transphobic by the left.
Yeah. Well, you're not tolerating my view that that's transphobic.
The same thing happened to legendary tennis star and feminist Martina Navratilova when she said it was unfair to women to have to compete against trans athletes. That is, athletes who say they identify as female but are biologically male. But I thought, according to the left, all ideas have equal value.
So hold on. It's intolerant not to let someone just say whatever transphobic garbage they want to say, but it's also intolerant to believe someone else is transphobic. Because shouldn't you be tolerant of our belief that what they're saying is transphobic? Aren't you being intolerant by not supporting that?
So why are J.K. Rowling and Martina Navratilova suddenly called haters?
Nobody called them
because
haters.
The left doesn't believe its own rhetoric.
But like, it could be because they're saying hateful things, and they're saying things that encourage hate against people. It's probably a good reason why someone might call them that. It's called hate speech.
What the left has done is cleverly redefine tolerance to mean agreement with leftist views. Tolerance no longer means treating people with civility and respect, even when we disagree with them. It means not disagreeing with them. That is the left.
So to treat someone with civility and respect, even when you disagree with them. Like, for example, if you disagreed with a trans woman that she was a woman, you would still treat her with civility and respect and let her use the bathroom of her choosing, right? Even though you disagree with her, for example?
That's how, in the name of tolerance, the left shuts down all disagreement. It defines any contradiction of...
I love that in the mind of the right, to simply disagree with someone is to shut down their right to have an opinion. To simply express that you disagree is to remove their right to believe whatever they want. To simply say, what you're saying sucks and it's hateful and I don't like it, is an act of aggression against them.
Leftist views as intolerant. But not only is disagreement not intolerant, it's morally and logically essential. Think about it. All ideas, all behaviors are not equally valid. Some are better, some are worse.
Absolutely.
And discussion and disagreement and debate are how we sort out the good from the bad.
So then, if through this process we discover that certain ideas are bad and dangerous, it would therefore be incumbent upon us to shame and insult people that hold those values, wouldn't you say?
Civilization depends on it. The abolitionist movement in America believed its arguments were better than pro-slavery arguments. They were. Anti-communists believe freedom.
And the pro-slavery people would have been like, oh, you can't argue with these people at all because they'll just call you racist. They'll just call you racist.
Was better than communism. It is. Tolerance doesn't require we treat all ideas as equally valuable. No, true tolerance means we treat all people as equally valuable, with kindness and with civility.
So then, if someone fails to do that, then it is not intolerant to remark upon that, to say what you are doing is racist. By your definition of tolerance, is therefore tolerant.
Freedom to express their ideas even when we disagree with them. That is real tolerance. Boston College philosophy professor Peter Kraft has a good way of putting it. He says, be egalitarian about people. That is, treat all people with equal dignity and respect, regardless of their views. But, he says, be elitist about ideas. In other words, treat some ideas as better than other ideas. Why? Because they are. Some are good, some are bad.
Yeah.
Some are smart, some are dumb, some are dangerous. And we ought to be able to have the liberty to figure out which is which in our discussions without being called names, and certainly without fearing we'll lose our jobs or our
But again, it isn't name calling to call someone transphobic. It's a neutral descriptor. The only reason that you are viewing it as an insult is because people get angry at you when they say it, because they believe it to be a bad thing. But it isn't an insult. It's just a fact, right? If you're saying something that is transphobic, that isn't someone trying to like call you a name. It is a description of your behavior. The same way that if someone said like, hey, you're being rude, that person isn't insulting me, right?
True tolerance applies to how we treat people we disagree with, not how we treat ideas we disagree with. All people have equal value. All points of view do not.
Yo, one idea that I would like to bring to everybody's attention is the good people over at webcamschat.com, hot girls and boys video chat. Our sponsor once again.
I'm Greg Kokel, president of Stand to Reason for Prager University. Thank you for watching this video. To keep PragerU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.
Again, as though, oh yeah, if you don't donate money, then we're going to have to start charging for these YouTube videos. We're going to have to start charging because there's no other monetization strategy. We'll have to charge people. I'm going to start editing ThoughtSlime videos with that. Go to patreon.com/ThoughtSlime if you want to keep these videos free. Otherwise, I'll have to develop my own platform where I can make people pay for videos. Someone dropped a good suggestion for a video to watch. How's Grebbleton doing? Not good. Not good, let me tell you. Understanding Nixon? No, it's boring. It's a bunch of history stuff. I'm not going to know enough to make fun of it. God, they just say the same things over and over. Here's one. Goodbye, America. America's going away, everybody. This is the end of America. I don't know if you saw the thumbnail. It was like America going away in a Thanos snap. Like it was disintegrating into dust.
Do you remember America?
Yeah.
If you read about it in a history textbook, you probably learned about a land of oppression, racism, sexism, income inequality,
Yeah.
police brutality, and imperial wars.
Yes.
Aside from that, it was a great place.
Not really.
That is how America is portrayed in most American high schools and
Oh, yeah. Just because all of that stuff happened, that's how they teach it in school.
colleges. And America's media, films, and by its progressive politicians.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's how America is portrayed in all the movies that you watch nowadays. I was watching Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and they kept turning to the camera and saying that America was founded on racism. That's fucking progressives.
In the words of filmmaker Michael Moore, America is a nation founded on genocide,
Yes,
built
correct.
on the backs of slaves,
Correct.
and maintained through the subjugation of women to
Yes.
second-class citizenship and economic disempowerment.
All factually true. Equally true of Canada also, before anyone gets up my ass about it. Canada is not a different country than the United States. We're just a nice area of the United States.
Is that America's history? Is that who Americans were and
Yes.
are? George Orwell understood that the most effective way to destroy a people is to deny and obliterate their own understanding of their history. History.
So, like, that's not doing that, though. It's literally telling people what happened in the United States history. Like, how is it denying history to say that America was built by slaves? It's just a thing that happened in the world.
Is much more than a collection of facts. History,
No, it isn't.
and our understanding of it, tells us who we are as a people in the same
No, it
way
doesn't.
your personal memories and experiences define and
No. This is not the point of it. Oh boy, I wish Tristan were here. The point of history is not to give us an idea of who we are. When I hear about Genghis Khan, I'm not like, this explains who I am. The point of history isn't to create a national identity. The point of history is to tell people what happened in the past.
shape who you are. Wipe out your memory, and you wipe out your identity. When you raise a generation of Americans to hold their country's past in contempt by exaggerating America's faults and ignoring its
example?
triumphs, then they will have
What's
no
an example of a fault that has been exaggerated? We'll wait.
respect for American institutions
Based.
or the beliefs on which the nation is based.
Yeah, there's
It
bad
hasn't
beliefs.
always been this way. Until the last few decades, liberals and conservatives alike shared a common understanding of America's origins, its history, and its mission of spreading liberty within America and around the world. They recognized
Spreading
America-
liberty. Spread America's mission to spread liberty around the world. Jesus Christ.
as the country of the Pilgrims in Jamestown, of the self-evident truths of the Declaration of Independence.
The self-evident truths, which were that all men are created equal and endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, chief among them the freedom, and now I'm losing the wording, but the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So this is a self-evident truth. It's a founding belief of America that even at the time they said all men, so women are not equal. They're not entitled to life, liberty, or the pursuit of happiness. And they wrote these words while also owning people, owning human beings and depriving them of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which they claimed it is self-evident that they are endowed by God with the fundamental right, the inalienable right.
Of the individual rights won through revolution and secured in the U.S. Constitution. This
To
was the
whom?
country of the frontier spirit and of almost unlimited possibilities.
Possibilities for whom? People had to be displaced and murdered in order for that expansion to happen.
the country that paid for the sin of slavery with the carnage of its civil war.
Oh. Oh. I'm sorry, but that is one of the most disgusting things I have ever heard them say on PragerU. That's... First of all, black soldiers were conscripted to fight in the Civil War and died disproportionately to white soldiers, which is obviously more white soldiers died, but like black people were press ganged into service and made to fight in like shitty positions in the Civil War. So no, I wouldn't say that America paid the price of slavery with the Civil War.
Of economic dynamism and endless invention, of unparalleled individual opportunity.
For whom?
And the country that defeated fascism and communism in the
Actually, communism defeated fascism.
20th century. Previous generations took all this for granted and reveled in it. So what changed? Starting in the 1960s, a new so-called progressive narrative took hold that sought not to uplift, inspire, and unite, but to demean, degrade, and divide. It sought to replace the pride of American achievement with shame. Ironically, this all happened while...
Do you feel shame that people did bad things in history in America? Like, Americans, I'm asking this to you, because I feel, because Canada has an equally bloody history, but I don't look at that and think, like, this is my fault, right? Like, to say, hey, there was fucking slavery. America was founded on slavery. It isn't done to demean or degrade or shame people. It is a thing that happened.
America was making extraordinary strides in civil rights, especially for minorities and women.
Why did it have to make those strides? Why did it have to? Where did it start?
But anything less than perfection, which can never exist given that every society is composed of flawed human beings, is now considered a total failure.
No. I don't think that's true. I don't think anyone considers America a total failure. I think you can't sum up a country into success or failure, but it's undeniable that horrible things were done in the name of America. Like, for example, slavery. Like, for example, genocide.
Victims of the past are elevated as an indictment of the present. Along the way, all the classic American touchstones have been undermined. According to the progressive narrative, Christopher Columbus discovered America only to despoil it. The founders wrote the Constitution.
Now, first of all, he didn't discover America. First, for many reasons. One, because he never fucking set foot in America. And secondly, because people were already living there. And then he was so viciously racist and sadistic and murderous that other people of his time were like, hey, we can't let this guy keep going because he keep going to the New World because he keeps horribly torturing the people there. The court in Spain were like, we can't let him keep doing this. That's how bad Christopher Columbus was.
And only to codify their ownership of slaves. The great captains of industry enriched themselves only by exploiting the poor.
Yes.
American traditions that were perfectly acceptable.
The thing is, though, the majority of Americans are not rich industrialists. So if you wanted people to be proud of their heritage as Americans, you could unite them based on the fact that they are the exploitees and demand that they rise up. That would be one way to maybe build, to lift people up and to not to shame them.
Even a few years ago, pledging allegiance to the flag, singing the national anthem, even saying Merry Christmas, have been called into question, mocked, and sometimes banned.
When?
The outcome of this new nonviolent civil war between those who hold America and its history in contempt and those who, without denying its flaws, revere America, will determine the future of the American experiment.
I think to say that you revere something that knowingly and consistently did horrible things and never atoned for them and continues to do horrible things is a pretty shitty outlook.
The new history we will make.
And also, it feels to me that if you are an American patriot, it is incumbent upon you to make America the best country it can be. And part of the process of doing that would be grappling with the things about it that aren't good, so you can learn to improve them. I don't see how it's patriotic to blindly ignore problems.
Is America a country that was built by slavery?
Yes.
Or a country that overcame and abolished slavery at the cost of 600,000 lives? Is America a country of rampant discrimination? Or an accepting people in active pursuit of a more perfect union?
It's a rampant discrimination one.
Is it a country of grinding exploitation?
Let me stop you right there. It's that one.
A land of limitless opportunity?
It's the exploitation one.
The time has come to choose. How will you remember America?
I'd probably base...
I'm James Robbins, columnist for USA Today.
I'd probably base it on like the things that happen instead of what I would like them to be. So that would be my choice. I just noticed that in the recommended videos on the side, I just had to show this virtual reality Halloween party from Tim Pool. You can strap on your Oculus Quest and just be, it's like you're standing next to Tim Pool. Like you're really there with them on Halloween. That would be so sick. I'm going to do that later. Please watch it. I don't know how to... I'm not going to set up my VR headset to stream right now. But I'm absolutely going to watch it later in my personal time. That was easily the most infuriating video I've ever seen from PragerU, and that's a pretty high bar. That one really crossed the line, in my opinion. We need a silly one. We need a silly one. You know what? Why am I doing this like a sucker? I'm sorting by new. What's the most popular videos they got? What are some popular ones? Oh, here we go. This is the ticket. This is how it's done. Left or liberal? Make men masculine again. Yeah, I know I can watch it without the 3D headset, but you're not getting the full experience, are you? It's like trying to watch Tenet on your phone. You're supposed to see it in IMAX. There's a war on boys. You heard about the war on boys? Who does a $15 minimum wage help? I have an idea of who it might help. There's only one way out of poverty. What do you think it is? Discipline equals freedom. Jesus. So many good choices. How to end white privilege. Why are so many good things being destroyed? If you hate poverty, you should love capitalism. A Progressive's Guide to Political Correctness. No, I'm not watching Israel, the World's Most Moral Army. That one's going to be way too much of a bummer. Are you kidding me? There's one here called Fix Yourself. I'm just looking to see if it's Jordan Peterson. Do you think it's Jordan Peterson? You want to hear them justify torture? Is there a video about torture? I don't know if I want to listen to a video about torture, to be honest. How to become a dangerous person. Are you on the wrong side of history? There we go. Bingo. I want to know.
The wrong side of history. It's one of President Barack Obama's favorite expressions. He's not alone, of course. It's a perennial favorite of liberal politicians and activists. Oppose gay marriage? You're on the wrong side of history.
Yes.
Against pot legalization? You're stuck in the past.
Yeah.
It's used a lot in foreign policy, too.
The stuck in the past is a different expression. But yeah, yes. If you oppose gay marriage, most people came to realize that that was backwards and fucked up. And history will remark upon them that they were bigoted weirdos. So, yes, as opposed to... And weed legalization, the same. Here in my state, Canada... we got the weed, and it's fine. Nothing bad happened.
In his first inaugural address, for example, President Obama said, quote, "To those who cling to power through corruption and deceit and the silencing of dissent, know that you are on the wrong side of history."
Do you disagree with
As
that?
Hosni Mubarak's regime...
Hold on.
Quote, "To those who cling to power through corruption and deceit and the silencing of dissent, know that you are on the wrong side of history."
Do you not agree that those who cling to power through corruption and deceit and silencing of dissent are on the wrong side of history? Do you not think that that's the case?
As Hosni Mubarak's regime in Egypt disintegrated in 2011 and the United States stood by and watched, Obama fell back on the comforting thought that, quote, "history will end up recording that at every juncture, we were on the right side of history." As Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi's chapter on this earth came to an end, President Obama justified American policy in Libya by saying, "I believe that Gaddafi is on the wrong side of history."
Do you disagree?
Speaking more broadly about the then still young Arab Spring, he said, "I think that the region will be watching carefully to make sure we're on the right side of history."
Okay,
When
I get it. Obama said it a lot. Thank you. Yes.
Putin started carving up Ukraine, the president insisted that America wouldn't actually do anything about it, but fear not, because Putin is on the wrong side of history.
What should America do, bud?
The long moral arc of the universe, another of Obama's favorite phrases, will bend towards justice. In the meantime, tough luck, Ukrainians. You may not have noticed, but the phrase has opposite meanings when used at home and abroad. Domestically, telling someone they're on the wrong side of history means you're going to lose eventually, so why don't you just give up now? But in foreign policy, it means I'm powerless to stop you, but one day, long after I have any responsibility to do anything at all, someone else will say you were wrong.
That's the same thing, though. In either case, it's justifying not doing anything.
In other words, when used at home, the wrong side of history is a sign of strength. Our activism is vindicated. Things are going our way.
No, it's an empty platitude to say, you should give up because I can't fight you. Just know that eventually people like me will win.
But internationally, the phrase is a sign of weakness. You're winning and I can't or won't stop you. What unites both terms is arrogance.
Yeah, this is fucking... They really think that the United States should be able to dictate what every other country in the world does. They really believe that. They really think that the United States should have total control. And if they don't like anything that's happening in the United States, a good leader, whoever is president, a good leader will be able to compel them to do anything that America wants.
Arrogance. Actually, arrogance and cowardice. The notion that history is moving in an inevitable direction is ancient. But in modern times, its main champion was Karl Marx. Marx argued that socialism was inevitable, according to some scientific principle. Therefore, any objection
Some
to
scientific
its unstoppable
principle.
triumph
I don't know what it was. I'm not going to look into it.
was not only morally wrong, but anti-intellectual and even unscientific.
Yeah.
This is what the great historian of communism, Robert Conquest, meant when he said that the phrase, the wrong side of history, has a Marxist twang to it. It was the atheist
Your
answer
words
to the
sound vaguely Marxist to me. Get out of here, sir.
religious notion that God is on our side, and it led to millions dying as socialists desperately tried to steamroll the future with the wheel of history. The idea has non-Marxist proponents too. There is what
You
the
don't
renowned
say.
Cambridge historian Herbert Butterfield called the Whig school of history, which holds that democracy, though not necessarily socialism, is inevitable. This is a much nicer thought, to be sure. But being nicer doesn't make it any more true. And to be honest, many people have died in service to this idea as well. At home and abroad, for socialists and Democrats alike, the problem is the same. The future is a blank page, and we don't know what will be written on it. But one thing is certain. When people come to believe that...
Yeah, but if something is clearly illogical, to the point that everyone who looks at it rationally can see that at some point society is going to have to grapple with the fact that this thing that we consider normal now makes no sense, you can comfortably make the assumption that people looking back on it in the future will say, oh, they were on the wrong side of history. They did the bad thing. I can't believe they advocated for that. For example, today, we might say that people who were against integrating schools were on the wrong side of history. People who were against interracial marriage were on the wrong side of history. People who were pro-slavery were on the wrong side of history. That doesn't mean that the course of human civilization naturally tends towards less slavery.
They are not masters of their own fate because history is not on their side. They will be less likely to take their fate into their own hands. Pick your issue. It may well be true that same-sex marriage is here to stay, that Americans will never relinquish their gun rights, or heck, that soccer might actually become America's pastime. But the only way such victories are assured is if those opposing them preemptively surrender based upon some potted assertions that defeat is inevitable. That is what is so undemocratic about the idea that there is a right side to history.
It's a statement of opinion, bud. It's not a law.
It amounts to saying shut up to anyone who wants to keep the argument going.
Yeah.
Freedom has no meaning.
Hey, shut up. Yes, that is the intent. People are telling you to shut up. You should ask yourself why so many people want you to shut up.
If we give over to the idea that we are powerless against the cold, impersonal forces that shape our destiny.
No, it's not literal. His argument seems to be that people who use this expression, this idiom, believe that there is a logical and illogical truth to the universe. Like there are two sides to history, and you either fall on the logically correct one or the logically incorrect one. It's from my point of view, what you're saying is wrong. It's ridiculous.
But particularly
Yes, I see you, Caleb fans. I see you. I'm so very annoyed and triggered. You got me.
Democracy. Defeat only comes when the losing side accepts defeat.
I don't
For
think that's
generations,
true.
Those on the right side of slavery and civil rights were told they were on the wrong side of history. They proved history wrong by refusing to surrender to it.
No. I think you have it entirely backwards. It's to say that we want to change something, and anyone who opposes this change is on the wrong side of history. The fact that it's about the sides of history implies that some change has to occur. No one says you're on the wrong side of history for defending the status quo.
To paraphrase the English poet T.S. Eliot, there is no such thing as a truly lost cause because there's no such thing as a truly won cause. So long as you are willing to fight for what you believe in, the cause endures. Let history take care of itself. I'm Jonah Goldberg of the American Enterprise Institute for Prager University.
To subscribe to our YouTube channel, click here.
How?
To help keep our videos free.
Can I point out?
Donate here.
There's nothing to click. I'm clicking. Nothing's happening. This is from 2015, so this is back when you had things you could click. That's not their fault. I was going to make fun of their tech issues, but that's Muffin fans are here. Roosevelt sucked. No, Roosevelt was a communist because he had some vaguely social democratic policies. That's what communism is, and if you disagree, you're a liberal. Okay, I think we got one more. We got one more in us, I think. Why are so many good things being destroyed? The suicide of Europe. That's got to be about... They're going to be on some great replacement shit. The suicide of Europe. Ladies and germs and non-binary... Equally pithy word for non-binary people.
A civilization born of Judeo-Christian values, ancient Greek philosophy, and the discoveries of the Enlightenment is staring at the abyss brought there by its own hand. To put it starkly, Europe is committing suicide. How did this happen? It's a complicated story, but there are two major causes. The first is the mass movement of peoples into Europe.
Yeah, that's what they're doing, huh? That's just what they're doing.
This has been going on steadily since the end of World War II, but sped up massively in the migration crisis of 2015, when more than 1 million migrants poured into Europe from the Middle East.
How many
North
people
Africa,
live in Europe, by the way? Can Europe absorb 1 million people from scary brown countries?
and East Asia. The second, and equally significant, is that Europe lost faith in itself, its beliefs, its traditions, and even its very legitimacy. Let's take a closer look at both causes. For decades, Europe encouraged people, mostly from the Middle East and North Africa, to come as temporary workers. Nobody...
Oh, that's one way to put it. Yeah, that's one description you could give of that relationship.
expected them to stay, yet they did. And nobody asked them to leave, even those who came illegally. As one British immigration minister put it in 1999, removal takes too long and it's emotional. And, of course, why would they leave? The economic opportunities were far greater in Europe than from where they came, and if the work dried up, there were generous welfare benefits to be had. For a time, immigrants were allowed, even encouraged, thanks to the European commitment to multiculturalism, to pursue whatever culture they wanted. But that didn't work out well. The leaders of Britain, France, and Germany admitted as much in 2011 when David Cameron, Nicolas Sarkozy, and Angela Merkel dramatically announced that multiculturalism had failed. So, the immigrants were then asked to assimilate and embrace Western values. If that happened, European governments.
I've grown up my entire life in the West, and I still don't know what these alleged values are that only we have, that are better than everybody else's. I keep hearing about this. What are our super cool values that no one else in the world's got?
Reasoned, all the financial costs, even the occasional acts of terrorism, could be overlooked. But it never happened, and immigration just increased. During 2015, Germany and Sweden added 2% to their populations in a single year. By 2017, the most popular boy's name in the United Kingdom was Mohammed. So, why did European leaders decide Europe could take in anyone in the world, whether fleeing war or simply seeking a better life, no matter how different or even opposed their values?
Whether they want something as serious as they're fleeing a war or something as frivolous as a better life.
Were to European values. The one-word answer to this question is guilt. Aren't these refugees, the thinking goes, fleeing the consequences of European imperialism?
Yeah.
Didn't we mercilessly exploit these unfortunate people in their home countries?
Yeah.
Aren't we the cause of their misery?
Yeah, not like us specifically, but like our countries, and we've benefited from their misery. Yeah.
Them into Europe is meant to be a wiping away of this guilt. This is especially true of Germany. In allowing 1.5 million people into her country in 2015, Angela Merkel was, in effect, proclaiming to the world that Germany, the great aggressor of the 20th century, the architect of the Holocaust, would be the humanitarian superpower of the 21st. A noble sentiment, perhaps, but who pays the price? The ordinary citizens of Europe, who've seen crime and terrorism increase exponentially. Their fears and frustrations have been largely ignored, or worse. In October...
Yes, the inherently criminal, swarthy hordes are coming. And perhaps it's noble to want to address the sins of the past. But if you think about it, doing nothing is really the better solution. If you think about it.
In 2015, the German government designated that 800 newly arrived immigrants were to be housed in the German town of Kassel. Concerned residents had a meeting to ask questions of their representatives. As a video recording shows, that his citizens were calm and polite. And then, at a certain point, their district president informs them that the refugees are coming regardless of their objections. And anyone who does not agree with the policy is free to leave Germany. This official attitude, if there is a problem, it's not with the refugees but with the citizens, reflects a sense of what I call tiredness. Feeling among the elite class that the European story has played out, that we've tried religion and all imaginable forms of politics, and that each has one after another led us to disaster. We taint every idea we touch, so who's to say that the world wouldn't be better off without us?
You truly think that not simply an effect of allowing unchecked immigration, not that I think there needs to be checks on immigration, but you seriously believe that the intent of allowing refugees into the country, the intent is to destroy the country. It's not an effect of that. It's leaders straight up deciding, oh, you know what? Fuck it. We had our go. Let's just kill ourselves. That's what you think. Even if that were true, surely you know that in a democracy, politicians have to do what their constituents want, otherwise they'll be voted out of office. So, in your head, the people of Europe must want this, and the politicians have calculated that this is how to get their support, that everyone has just decided that since obviously living close to brown people is literal death, that they are all so tired of life and the failures of their systems that they wish to die.
Of course, only people who have no idea how lucky they are could take this view. Ironically, no one knows this better than those refugees who truly did assimilate and who defend Western values. Extraordinary people like Somali-born Ayaan Hirsi Ali, who left the Netherlands because she believed in the principles of the Enlightenment more than the Dutch did. Or Hamid Abdel Samid in Germany, whose life is threatened by fellow immigrants because he defends European values.
What are these values they keep here?
This is the stuff of suicide.
What are the European values in question? What are they? I keep hearing about these European values. I'd love to know.
The self-annihilation of a culture. It is possible that ordinary Europeans will join their leaders in this pact, but recent opinion polls suggest that they have no intention of doing so. How they act on that intention will be the great story of the years ahead. Are we about to witness the end of Europe, or its rebirth?
Oh, saying the quiet part out loud there, bud.
I'm Douglas Murray, author of The Strange Death of Europe.
What is it with
from
Murrays?
University. Thank you for watching.
This guy talks exact. If I were to tell you that there's a video on PragerU of a British guy talking about the suicide of Europe, and you had to picture him in your head and picture his voice, that's how you picture it, 100%. Just truly outstanding stuff. You truly love to see it. All right. Here's the deal. I'm done watching PragerU now. We've watched all of the good videos on PragerU. So I'm going to read out the messages I missed, the super chats I missed, and the Twitch equivalents thereof. Then, obviously, we're going to end out with some Laugh Out Loud jokes for kids. Sound fair to everybody? Sound fair? Too bad you don't get a vote. Yeah, these were all good videos. Are you kidding me? I learned a lot. Like, for example, it's bad to be mean to racists. I didn't know that. I thought it was good. I'm just trying to get my shit together here. That was a significantly more draining experience than I anticipated. All right. I'm starting to think PragerU might not be a legit university. Also, here, have some money dollars. Yeah, they're not a real university, but they are shown in a depressing amount of schools. Hi TS, first time in the stream. You helped me as a disabled person stop fearing anarchism, learn about it, and now identify as an anarchist. Thank you. Thank you, Pinball Witch. That is a dope username as well. Worked at McDonald's. My manager said I did good. And you didn't become the president? Also, thanks to you, I love the Fear Street movies. That's mostly the work of the fine people who made the Fear Street movies. Love you, baby Slimbo. Keep riffing on these clowns. Will do. I worked Taco Bell for 2 years, got told I was great, and asked for a raise. Got a nickel an hour raise and a promo to supervisor in year 1. Year 2, I stopped ringing up drinks and pocketed all the drink profit. Hell yeah. Based. Also, never, ever, ever, ever write that down anywhere again. Never admit to doing that again, ever. Everyone should do such things. Nobody should admit. Here's the thing. There's always people watching. And I get paranoid about this stuff, but here's the truth of the matter. It's pretty much unlikely that any law enforcement agency is actively monitoring you. But if they're ever given reason to in the future, they can look back through your messages and then use that against you. So just be extremely careful with that kind of shit. First time catching a live stream and using it as an excuse to pay for a luxury. I can ill afford, disclaimer, the above is a joke. I can fully afford this. Keep educating. I don't know if I would call what I was doing today educating. Just getting mad at fish in a barrel. I kind of hate you for making me know this channel exists. That's fair. Bees bombolini. No way, bro. We should exchange phone numbers, Stephen Smith. Those were not chalkboards? No, well, I mean, nowadays they don't really use chalkboards. He's referring to when Mustache was jumping at the photo of the Earth drawn on like a whiteboard. Yes, I am learning much. I doubt that, scary Earth human. Oh, I get it, because you're trying to pretend to be human. I get it. PragerU is reptilians confirmed. I mean, the whole reptilian thing is kind of not a good look. They make Oblivion NPCs seem more charismatic. This is in reference to the dialogue tree that PragerU gave to have conversations with real people. More like Prager, no. Got him, Pishpon. Fucking got him. Waiting around in Majora's Mask for mail to be delivered. Thanks for entertaining me. I'm so bored in this video game. I'll put on a live stream. Why is PragerU? Seriously, why are they? Because petrobillionaires give them a bunch of money so that they'll defend bad ideas that benefit petrobillionaires. Notice she didn't say why her honorary degree offer was rescinded. Wonder what that was about. We know what that was about. The Cold War really gave a few generations serious PTSD, huh? Like, that's the only reason I can think of as to why they're so reflexively scared of anything they view as remotely socialist. No, I think it has more to do with the fact that the people that pay them stand to lose a great deal of anything, if anything, even remotely socialist is implemented. So that kind of filters down. I think it has less to do with like them buying into Cold War propaganda. In PragerU's case, I think that's true for like the average American, but in PragerU's case, it is just because the people that pay them have a vested interest in this. They have correctly surmised that if socialism is allowed to become popular, then it is a threat to their wealth and well-being. Love your content. Thanks so much for being amazing. Thank you for being amazing, Chris Benson. Just spreading the love. I appreciate that. Thank you. I miss the old days when Muppet Babies only pushed a Scientology agenda. Is there context to this joke that I'm missing? Is that a thing that happened? Love the glasses. Thank you. These glasses are from Zenny Optical. They cost $9. They are prescription. Lenses included. If my girlfriend says I'm Prager's, then I'm overjoyed. Love you, Queen. But if she says I'm Prager's, I'm leaving the subhuman trash in the dirt of a roadside field. But what if she says she's Poggers? You got to be careful, because if she said she's Poggers, it just means she's excited and a Zoomer. Hey, Thought Slime, keep being awesome. No, I won't, because you tried to make me do something. Can we talk about the man's bold mustache? It was a very bad mustache. I think we can all agree on that. Conservatives just want their kids to never know about LGBTQ people. They, as adults, don't want to know about LGBTQ people. Pretty much, it's they're disguising it in the language of liberty and rights, and it's just they're uncomfortable with queer visibility. That's all it is. That's actually rather helpful. I didn't know they had helplines for this. I might reach out myself. That's good to hear. They definitely do. They tried to trans me every time I went to the doctors because I liked climbing trees, and I'm definitely not still fighting to have my dang tubes tied at 35. I'm sorry to hear that. But it's why it's ridiculous how they present it as though like kids are just walking into the doctor's office and coming out with a bag of hormones and puberty blockers. It's like the red tape to go through those things is surreal. It's Kafkaesque. War is peace, ignorance is strength, freedom is slavery. That's John Orwell's 1985, isn't it? Getting hormones is a nightmare at the best of times, even when you're on the cusp of literally dying without them. Frick PragerU. Also ups to Mr. Constant23 in chat for straight clowning. Mr. Constant23 was spitting truth in that comment section, and I admired their patience, because I would not do that. As we all know, the fact that the Earth revolves around the sun is inherently self-evident, and no society has ever believed otherwise. Yeah, I guess it's a pretty good example of something that requires investigation. It appears to be one way, but what is self-evident is in fact wrong. They know it's lies, and that's why they want to force it on kids. We want to put PragerU kids on TV so every kid in America can see it. Yeah, it's pure projection. It's accuse your enemy of doing that which you do. It's like Fascist Playbook 101. How would PragerU feel about knowing that there was also a teenage girl that rode for miles yelling the British are coming as well? I didn't know that. But also, didn't Paul Revere only do like a couple of miles? And it was like part of a stretch of like a bunch of people doing it? Did you ever read the Vonnegut story, The Eufio Question? It has the best counter-argument against the concept of heaven I've ever read. I have not read it. The concept of heaven to me is like, how you gonna argue against it? It's you don't know. You're not dead. You don't know. Mildred, this is exclusively to be used to purchase fruit. I think strawberries are best, but it's up to your discretion. Thank you. I will be spending your money on anything but fruit. Fruit is a waste of time food. Nobody likes fruit. Strawberries are the worst fruit. It's just a shitty, sour bullshit with sand on it. If I was going to get fruit, here's a list of acceptable fruits: apples, oranges, bananas, grapes, melons of any kind, except honeydew. Garbage. Honeydew's garbage. Fuck honeydew. Peaches. Oranges. Did I say oranges already? These are blueberries as well. This is what you're allowed to have. All the other fruits are bad. Fuck plums. Citrus fruits you can have in a drink. Non-orange citrus fruits, like lemons or limes. This is all I will accept. How would PragerU feel about knowing there was also... Oh, I already read this one. My dad got kicked out of Catholic school for not understanding why you couldn't worship in a forest instead of a church. Why can't you? You know why? Because it leads to pan worship. You start playing flutes, dancing naked in the woods. Based. Something very dishonest about this, where they're saying to fake being part of their religion, like they don't care about religion at that point. They're just being surrounded by people who agree with them. It's just weird to like... It's just weird to make the argument that like, oh, you should pretend to believe in God because it's better to believe in God even if you don't. It's just such a... It's just so silly. Like it's like there's other ways to get all of these supposed benefits, and like it, just believe the thing you believe and allow your kids to believe whatever they believe. Keep on keeping on. I will not, because you told me to do it. Love your channel. Keep being cool with picture of a bee. That's very cute. I'm not going to keep being cool because you tried to tell me to do it. Normally I make an annual tax return donation, but let's spice it up since I caught the live stream. I don't think donations to YouTubers are tax deductible. So be careful with that. What, wouldn't most encompass some? Yes, but it's like Roger is a dog, Roger has fleas, all dogs have fleas. Like, no. Most include some, but some does not necessarily include most. Can we eat the troll? Already did. It's time to grow up. PragerU videos cringe. I already watched that one on stream, baby. You excited for Lil Nas X's debut album Montero coming out tonight? It's going to be a total bop. Nah, not really. I'm not really into Lil Nas X's music. To be honest, it's fine. Doesn't really excite me. Hey there, made stir fry and my tofu broccoli came out impeccably. I took an edible when the stream started and now I'm ready to meet Bobby. It's a generation of kids are taking drugs to meet Bobby Duke instead of God. Yeah, probably the reason your broccoli tasted so good is because you ate that edible first, huh? You ever think about that? Although broccoli is good, unlike fruit, which is bullshit. Love what you do, just want to support you. Thank you, Henry. As a teen, I tore up and ate $1 just for the shock value. I realize now that to them, it was probably more about how disgusting a thing to eat that is. Anyway, I once had a friend who threw a $20 bill in a campfire. He was like, he justified it by saying, like, you'll never get to see that again. Like, now you've seen that. Isn't that amazing? I was like, no, I wanted the $20. $20 is amazing. Malignant, but it's Tim Pool and his beanie. No spoilers. I haven't seen it. I'm probably not going to. I don't like that guy's movies. I feel ashamed of the genocide, slavery, and patriarchy that America has done, but I don't think it is my fault. It's my responsibility to try and make up for the horrors we committed. To this day, we have abolished slavery. I think you meant to say to this day we have not abolished slavery. But yeah, I mean, to me, there's a difference. Like, I absolutely think people should work to undo the oppressive systems of the American state. People should work to dismantle white supremacy and the foundational racism and heterosexism of the United States. But like, I also don't think it. I maybe this is just a semantics thing, but like, the element of shame that I would feel is for when I'm complicit in those things, not just for them happening. So like, when I find myself contributing to those things, I then feel shame. But just that they're happening, like, I don't. Am I making sense? I don't know. This is maybe an insensitive way to discuss this. To anyone in Maine, Anti-Proud Boy demo on Saturday in Portland at 4:30. Just everywhere in Portland is now an Anti-Proud Boy rally. Hey, That Slime, I love your content because of you realized I was non-binary and came out 2 months ago. Never felt more comfortable with myself. Good. Continue becoming comfortable until finally you can become comfortable no more. And then it's all downhill from that. Your ADHD video was super touching on a personal level, and I think it's your best video yet, even better than the dog comic one. The dog comic one? What does that mean? Oh, Akewood? Those are cats, not dogs. But I agree, I think the ADHD video is my best video yet. I'm very proud of that video. You have such beautiful eyes. Thank you. Thanks for noticing. Give me back my money. That money was for very specific fruit. No. In fact, I'm gonna use it to. What's the opposite of fruit? I will buy the opposite of fruit. Like something that tastes good instead of bad. Buy a Butterfinger? I can't. It's not vegan. Okay. Hope all is well. Thank you, Aru Chaizen. That's the only text message on Twitch. to read aloud. So then, you know what must be done. Am I rocking a bit of a tan? I better be. Putting on all this fucking sunscreen, skateboarding for hours a day. There are some vegan Pringles, I think. Beer? I will be buying beer tomorrow. I'm going to a friend's house to celebrate the day of his birth. The first time I've been able to do this since the coronavirus pandemic began. Fruit is vegan candy. First of all, not all fruits are vegan. Apricots, for example. Secondly, if I want vegan candy, Sour Patch Kids. Boom, done. Fuzzy Peaches, perfectly vegan. Not Oreos right now. Normally Oreos are vegan, not right now. Nabisco workers are on strike. Apricots are not vegan because they require a wasp to pollinate. A wasp has to die to make an apricot. So, figs, I'm thinking of figs. It's figs, not apricots. Apricots, re-veganized. Figs, no longer vegan. Good luck ending Ramadan now. It's now time for everybody's favorite part of this stream. Laugh out loud jokes for kids. Why was the jelly so stressed out? It was spread too thin. How far are we? We're on page 51 of 126. But don't think that you'll be free when we're done the book, because I'll just buy another joke book. But we're on chapter 2, Awesome Animal Jokes. That's right. 50 pages in, we finally made it to chapter 2 of... Hold on, let me see the table of contents here. Of 5. Chapter 2 of 5. A cowboy arrives at the ranch on a Sunday, stays 3 days, and leaves on Friday. How is that possible? Wait a minute, I've read these before. I thought this was familiar. It's because the horse's name was Friday. You've already heard that joke. Okay. Okay, last time we did the duck joke, yes. I saved that to show my wife this is my favorite joke of all time. What is a reptile's favorite movie? Think long and hard about this one. What's a reptile's favorite movie? A reptile's favorite movie. Wow, a lot of much funnier punchlines. I'm sorry, but the answer is The Lizard of Oz. How come the cow became an astronaut? It's so it could walk on the moon. Oh, here's the joke. Here's the joke for the thinkers in the crowd. Where do birds invest their money? Oh, they're bird coins. Where do birds invest their money? The stock market, that's correct. Here's an incredibly funny joke. Where do ants like to eat? feel like ants eat everywhere, but what do ants like to eat? Nest egg is a better joke. At a restaurant. Where do shrimp go if they need the money? Where do shrimp go if they need the money? Where do shrimp go if they need the money? To the prawn shop. Why were the chickens so tired? Why were the chickens so tired? How come the chickens got so tired today? Will I ever do a full stream of just joke books? You know what? That's a good April Fool's Day stream. Day of the week is April Fool's Day. It's a Friday. How come the chickens were so tired? It's because they were working around the clock and they don't have a union. Why did the boy canary make the girl canary pay for her own meal on their date? Really laying a lot of pipe for this one. Because he was cheap. Really laying a lot of pipe. What do cows like to eat? What do cows like to eat? Oh, see, you're saying, Grass, you have to remember that these are jokes, not just questions about cows. Smoothies. You know how, like, you eat a smoothie. Why do flamingos stand on one leg? This one plays with your expectations in an interesting way. It's because if they lifted the other leg, they'd fall over. What do you get when you cross a fish and a kitten? A piranha? What kind of bull doesn't have horns? It's a bullfrog. That one's a bullfrog. Ladies and germs and non-binaries is thank you everybody for coming to my stream and putting up with laugh out loud jokes for kids. This has been a fun one, wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say? You know that there's only one person I can send you to. Do not believe the ice lies. Don't believe what he says about my ice. It's only Zots. I've never sent you to only Zots. I've only ever sent you to Chemazot's altar. Now I'm sending you to only Zots. This is a brand new experience. Don't, if he says anything about my ice, don't believe him. He's a fucking liar and a traitor to me. But otherwise, have a good night. Other than that.